We live now, Bubs?
I am live.
Excellent. Sounds good. Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Brendan Enric, as it probably says on Bubs' stream and also here on mine. We are doing a dual stream today, so we are crossing these two streams. I've heard that's dangerous, but I think we're going to survive.
I'm a Ghostbuster.
Yes, exactly. If it unmakes the universe, it is Bubs' fault. Just for the record. So welcome, hello everybody. We're doing a special stream here on both channels. So for anyone that doesn't know who I am a software developer professionally. I've been coding for a long time. My primary language right now is C#, hence the name of, at least on my stream, it says that we're learning C# today. And I've been coding for about a little over 20 years. And Mr. Bubs, why don't you give us a little bit of background on your experience with programming?
Sure. Well, it'll be a really brief introduction then, because my background with any kind of development or coding is exactly 0 seconds. So I'm going to be very new at this, and I'm excited to be a part of your stream. And I look forward to it. I have held it before in the past, and it's all thanks to you and for how long I've been, known you. I've always held an interest into this kind of thing. So I hope like what I get out of this, aside from, maybe entertaining everybody here with some real noob development, sequences here, is to really open the door to it. Cause I think, it's something that I've always held a high interest for. And maybe this will give me a brief introduction and spark my interest further and see if I maybe go into a coding camp. I don't know.
Sounds good. So cool. Mm-hmm. So I think that gets everybody the idea that Bubs is going to learn how to code and isn't coming in with a whole bunch of experience. So hopefully anybody that's here and is interested in learning coding or is watching this after the fact gets the idea that it doesn't matter what their background is, because Bubs is starting from the same point. Mm-hmm. So, okay, so cool. We've done a couple of things. We've done a little bit of setup already. We installed some things on his computer. If you're watching my stream, you can see my screen. If you're watching Bubs' stream, you can see his stream, which I actually realize I should pull up his stream. Otherwise, I won't be able to see what he is doing, because we're not sharing our screens right now. We are doing something else that's kind of interesting. Okay, so there we go. So you have VS Live Share Up, which gives away to everyone how we are actually going to collaborate. Exactly. Well, everyone starts at 0, but the point being that we are starting from 0, so you don't need to. I guess you don't need to have a lot of background in programming in order to start with us today. Okay, so Bubs, you are looking at the VS Live Share screen. Why don't you go ahead and get rid of that, and we're going to go ahead and get something started. And actually, that reminds me, I should post a quick set of instructions. If anyone wants to follow along, all you need to do is install this set of components that I am going to link in our two chats. Okay. So the tools that you need to install to follow along with us are Visual Studio Code, and that's the program that you see up here on our screens. This is just a text editor. This is how we write our code, and the text editors we use for programming are designed to make programming easier. They do a lot of the work for us, they check things for us, and they have a lot of additional tools built in. So this is not Notepad. It's quite a bit more advanced. And then the next link that is in there is to download the .NET Core SDK, and that is a link to it, and that is from Microsoft, and that is the code that lets you build in C#. So we're going to type in VS Code. The .NET Core SDK is what's actually going to let us build and run our C# code. Once you build it, you can run it other places. The last thing is I recommend installing an extension in order to be able to get some extra help while you're in VS Code. So remember I mentioned our text editors help us out while coding. That extension helps with C# to do a lot of the stuff for us, so you don't have to start from scratch. Okay, so the last thing, we have one additional extension installed. It's called VS Live Share, and if you've ever used the collaboration in Google Docs, it basically lets us do that inside of this text editor. So Bubs and I can actually edit the same code at the same time. So here's what I want you to do. Mr. Bubbles, are you listening?
I am listening loud and clear.
Sounds good. Okay. I want you to open up the terminal in your Visual Studio Code. And the way that you do this is you can hold the control key and hit the back tick. So if you do that, you should see the terminal popping up, and you can just do that to open and close it.
Okay.
So let me know if you're able to do that. Do you know what a back tick is?
No, I don't.
Okay. Do you know what the tilde key is on your keyboard?
Yes, of course.
All right. So you hit the tilde key, but without the shift. The other side should
Got
be
it.
the back tick.
Am I doing anything?
I don't know.
Hitting the tilde key. Let's see. Oh, it says control. Toggle terminal for me is control tilde.
Oh, yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, there's the hotkey for it. So I was like, huh, why isn't it working? Okay, I popped open.
Okay, sounds good. And back to business. The backtick key is the one that's like looks like an apostrophe, but it's the other direction. So angled the other way. And hey, welcome. And apparently someone on my stream just learned what the backtick key is.
Yeah, okay, good. I'm glad I wasn't the only one. There's two people in two different chats that did not know what the backtick was. I was like,
most
man,
people
this is
don't
a bad
know what
start.
that one is. No. It's a weird one. Yeah.
Okay.
The programmers don't know too, Bubs. So you're good. Like these are the people
awesome.
whose job is knowing computers. Okay. So you should have a terminal up. I have it up on my screen as well, and I want you to type something that's going to confirm that we got everything installed. So go ahead and type in .dotnet.
.dotnet.net.
Yep, and then hit enter.
Okay.
And then that should run, and it should do something. It came back with results that weren't an error, right?
It said usage.net options, usage.net
Sounds good.
path
Yep,
application,
that's what we
all
want to
that
see.
stuff.
So
Great.
in this case, type in, instead I want you to type in .dotnet, and then type in --info.
.net --info. That yielded an error.
That yielded an error.
It said .net info. The term .net --info is not recognized.
Oh, sorry, space and then --info.
Gotcha.
Sorry, my bad.
Dash
I should have clarified.
There we go. Now it ran a bunch of other stuff.
And it came back with a bunch of stuff.
Correct.
Okay, good. In that case, that means that you have things installed. Hey, Draco followed you. Nice.
Hey, Draco, thanks so much for following me. I appreciate it.
Okay, so now that we have that going, that's basically the confirmation that you are all set up and we are able to write some code. And yes, he is actually almost a hacker.
Almost a hacker back in business. Yeah, I saw that too.
When we typed in .net, you probably noticed it said usage. So it was trying to tell you how to actually use it, right? It was like, hey, I noticed you tried to use this command. Here's some tips. So what I want you to type this time is .net and then space new. And it's, again, going to give us some help here. So, and it should come back with a bunch of options for, like, what we can do. So...
Yeah. Yes. Whoa. Quite a lot of options, it seems.
Yes, it comes with a lot of options. So these are like various templates for stuff that we can build. So like to me, this is like, oh yeah, these are all the different project types. To you, this is like, holy crap, there's a lot of options. We're going to start simple. We want you to start with something that, you know, is pretty easy to do and can help us, you know, learn the basics of code. So this is actually where I recommend pretty much everybody start out. You can't, so some people like to start with the like, oh, go like start learning some logic on these other things. And I'm like, okay, no, do that second. Step one is learn the basics of how this stuff is actually happening. So you figure out, oh, this is what it's actually going to be. So when you look at this, you'll notice it says templates, short name, language, tags, right? It's got these 3 headers if you scrolled up through your options there.
Options on the
output in the terminal, it gave you all those choices for things.
Yep, see it. Problems, output, debug console.
Problems, output, debug console.
next to terminal. That's what it says. At least is that if that's what you're referring to.
Oh no! I mean like the list that it spit out. So we said that it
yeah.
gave you a whole bunch of templates. One of them has the short name of console, right?
Got it. Yep. Short name console,
Yep.
console application, class library.
So just
all
do
that.
.NET and then new and then space console. So same thing you did before, but put the word console at the end.
Okay. Space in between new and console.
Correct.
.NET new console. Okay. Processing post creation actions.
Yep.
Running
and that
.NET
is going
restore.
to make your project.
Cool.
Okay, so on the left-hand side, you should see a bunch of files that exist now. So over here on the left-hand side, like above us, like above each of us on our own stream, you'll see a csproj file and a program.cs file, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, program.cs file. Open that up so you can take a look at what's in there.
Got it. Okay.
So we just did this step on my stream, everybody. 1 second. I am going to change what we see on my stream so we see the same one as Bubs. This should be Bubs' side. Here we go. So this is Bubs' code. So everybody on Bubs' stream, you guys should be able to see me typing.
You're more than a dev, Brendan. You're a wizard because I just saw you pop into my computer now and it's
there we go.
doing some stuff.
So that's the neat part there is that we actually have this. So the cool part is while I show him this, I can jump in. So okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to go down into that terminal window again, and this time I want you to type in .NET Run. You don't need to do anything else, just type in .NET Run.
Okay, and the terminal, that's the output, so terminal window, .NET space run.
That is correct.
Okay, pressed enter.
I don't know if we're going to see this on my end. Oh, good, we see it on my end too.
You do, yeah. You see, I see it now. You see the terminal. Perfect. Yeah. So it's "Hello World" is what it says.
Yeah. Okay. So that's neat. So printed out "Hello World." Congratulations, Mr. Bubbles. You are now a programmer.
I did it.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I'm actually not even kidding. You have actually done the first required thing, like that right there. You wrote a "Hello World" program technically. You used a template to get the starting bit, but you did it. Why don't you go ahead and change some of that text? So I think you can probably guess what that part does. Change that text inside of the console right line there.
Right.
So anything inside those double quotes.
The red part, right?
Yep, exactly.
Cool.
So change that to be something else.
I'll keep it PG.
That's a good idea. I didn't use the family-friendly tag, but I thought about it.
Okay, go ahead and change that. Now do I hit .NET Run again in the terminal?
Yep. So go down there, and this time instead of typing in .NET Run, what I want you to do is just hit the up key once you're in the terminal, and then hit enter.
Oh, cool. It kind of like repopulates what I typed before.
It has the full list of all your previous commands, so if you need to jump to a previous one and just make a quick change, you can do that, or run the same one. So
let's see. Did it not do it?
It did it. We didn't save the file, so save the file. Control S to save the file and then go run it again.
Okay, Control S to save the file and let's run it again. Thanks for watching, everyone. Yay!
So awesome. So that is called console output, and that's like the simplest thing that we do in programming is writing something out to a console. And the reason we do that is, first off, that helps you know what you actually just wrote. You can see it, you can confirm it, but that does one other thing. There are a lot of programs whose console output can be like fed into other programs and things like that. So there's a lot of neat stuff.
Very cool.
I don't know what Baka's talking about. Oh, hey, Bubs, you're in my stream. You're streaming in my stream chat.
Of course.
Okay, anyway. So we got this working, so that's cool. Why don't you add another console write line? But this time I want to have you do something different with it. So go ahead and copy that line.
Yep. The whole thing, right?
All of whole thing. 9? Yep. Everything there.
Got it.
And I'm going to explain what is in here once we do this. But go ahead and just make a duplicate on the next. So hit enter, make another line of the same thing there.
Okay, so like on number 10, 11, does it matter like which line that I pasted under?
Yes, it does.
Glad I asked.
So put it directly where the, so like Here, Bubs.
Here. Okay, got it.
Put it right there.
Perfect.
And we'll explain why in a moment. But here's the idea. So this thing out here, don't worry about this. This thing out here, don't worry about this. This thing here, don't worry about this yet. We'll explain all of those. Sourceify, you can absolutely share this vid. And then this code here, worry about this code for now. Just know that this whole section out here is what lets this in here run. And we'll explain everything above that level later. So the curly braces, I'll say, denote sections of code, right? So each one of these, that denotes a code block, as we'll call it. So, okay. Change the text on one of those, we'll have it be something else. So, just doesn't matter. Make it hello world again.
Sure, we'll make the first one. Oh, wait. If I go to change one, it looks like it's changing.
No, it should just change the one. It's just highlighting it because it can detect that there's a duplicate of that same text.
Got it.
So, for example, if you say like hello, say hello everyone instead of hello world.
Let's do that, everyone.
Yeah, now highlight just the word everyone.
Yeah, now since
and you'll notice everyone is going to highlight. And so people aren't seeing that on my screen, but you'd see that on Bubs' screen. I can highlight it too for mine. So you see when I highlight this, it slightly highlights the other one. That's part of our tooling helping out. So remember I said this is a lot more advanced than Notepad. The idea is that it can detect immediately, oh, hey, I've got a duplicate of that. So, for example, when I highlight console, it highlights the other console. When I highlight right line, it highlights the other right line. It would do that for every one of them that is there. So if I do this, and I wrote everyone down there, you'll see all of them are highlighting. So it knows about all of those bits of text. Okay. Go ahead and run this, and then we're going to do something more interesting.
Okay, .NET run again. Let's see. Hello, everyone.
Okay.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks for that info there, Sushinator.
Yeah, thanks, Sushi. Appreciate it.
What was I going to do? Right, I was going to do that. Okay. So here is what we want to do next. I wanted to make this somewhat more interesting here, so let's do this way. You're going to learn about a fairly new feature in the language, actually. Before the double quotes in each one of these, put a $sign in. And
double quote.
Yep.
Got it. In hello everyone, and thanks for watching.
Right here and right here. Just go ahead and put a $sign in each one of those spots. And that's going to do something that you're not even going to notice happen. So first off, we can save this and you can run it again. We have a shared console, so yeah.
So if you hit Control S, does it save for you as well?
I think it saves on your computer if I hit Control S, probably.
Nice. All right. Well, I hit Control S just out of fear that it wouldn't, but let's just
yeah. Well, that's a good thing. I would recommend it.
Okay.
Okay. So there you go. So there is your thanks for watching, everyone, and that goes through just fine. So our $sign seems to have not done anything, right? It didn't make any changes. Okay. Cool. Let's do this now. We're going to learn about something called variables. So when you're programming, it is very important to be able to reuse data. So we've looked at console output. This is how you do console output. I didn't really explain how we did it, but we will learn more about how that works in time. For now, just know that you do console write line, and whatever you want to print out goes in those between those parentheses. Okay, so up here, this line before that I just created there, go ahead and make a new variable up there, and I'm going to tell you the easy way to do it.
Okay.
So go to put your cursor on line 9 and type in the word var, so V-A-R. You're in a weird spot, but sure.
Is it in a weird spot?
Do that.
There we go. Okay.
Now get your cursor after the word var and
got it.
Make a space. You remember in math class how like you had variables and they always had a letter as their name?
Right.
Okay, that sucks. So you're gonna do like full names because single letter variable names are total garbage. So why don't we go with like greeting?
The
There
word
you go.
greeting.
And now hit a space and hit the equals sign. And
Mhm.
then obviously you want to greet everyone, so hit another space, put in double quotes, and type in a greeting that you want to make to the fine people on the internet.
A greeting. Okay. To our learning module.
Sounds great. And now
Sure.
at the end of the line, put a semicolon.
At the end of the line, put a semicolon after the quotes or before?
Yes, after the quotes.
Okay.
Okay, so something about C-based languages. So if you've heard of C, C++, C#, Java, JavaScript, and a lot of other languages, we end all of our lines with a semicolon. So you'll notice that at the end of line 9, 10, and 11 is a semicolon. And that says, hey, that's the end of the line, and it's done.
Got it.
Okay?
I'll take some notes here.
We want to, well, I mean, this is why you're typing this.
Yeah.
So take that word greeting. Go ahead and copy that whole word and get rid of everything. Get rid of the $sign and the double quotes for the first part, the hello everyone.
Okay, so I'm going to get rid of all this.
Yep, from including the, that. And then write in the word greeting instead. No, not inside of quotes.
No inside of quotes.
Just the word greeting. And the casing matters. So the fact that you did lowercase, which is perfect, by the way, did actually matter. Let's go ahead and let me see. Does it save on your? Has it saved already on your end when I do that?
How can I tell once you do? Yeah, once you save it.
That's a great question. It saves on your end. Cool. So if you didn't save, it saved on your end already.
Okay, cool.
And I'll tell you how you can tell. So go down into your terminal and let's run this again.
Got it.
Oh,
cool. So I think I know exactly what it did. So whatever I typed in the variable greeting, we put an equal sign, and essentially we created, I don't want to use incorrect terminology to confuse anybody, but essentially a command, right? Where the quotes would go normally.
Yeah, so I'll explain these terms. So we've been asked to slow down a little bit, so I will, and I will spend this time by slowing down and explaining a couple of these pieces. Okay, so the first thing here, so this is a statement. Line 9 is called a statement, line 10 is a statement, and line 11 is a statement. Now, you don't have to worry about those terms, you don't need to know those, but that's the idea, is that's a line of code that's going to do something. This var greeting says create a variable named greeting, and then the equals says assign, and then we're saying assign this value into the variable greeting. So this would be like in your math class if you said like x equals 7, right? Except that instead of 7, we are storing the data of this string. Then what we can do is on line 10, we're actually going to say, hey, go ahead and write out this string to the console. And that's what console write line means. So that's why it wrote a line on our console. So if you see that in the terminal output, that's a console line that we write there. Okay, so the next line here, this is actually doing the same thing. But you don't actually see it happening. And the reason why is this is called, so this that we assigned here, this is called a string literal. And a string is a string of characters, and that's what we use for text. So string in this case is the technical term for what this thing is. And we know that, yeah, it's just text, right? But string is what programmers are going to call it. So don't get confused when we call it a string. The next thing I want to mention about this is when we pass it to write line, that's what we passed it. We passed it a string either way. So let me go ahead and prove this to you, Bubs. So I had you type in the letters VAR for a variable. Go ahead and change those 3 letters to the word string instead, starting with a lowercase s.
Right where VAR
Correct.
is, just replace
Yep.
it with...
Just replace that. You
with
did
string.
that perfectly. So
Perfect.
notice that it turned blue. So var was blue and string is blue.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good hint that that's a keyword and you typed it correctly, and you actually probably had a bit of what we call IntelliSense popped down when you typed that. And it sort of had like a hint that string was the option you wanted to pick, right?
Right.
Yeah, so go ahead and save this again, and then go down into the console and run it again. You'll see that it's going to work the same way. So in C#, if you want to specify the type of a variable, you can. So we told it this is a string. You don't have to. You could just say var. Either one works just fine.
Right.
Okay, so let's create an integer. So you might remember the term integer from your math classes in, I don't know, when you're from Florida. Do you guys have math classes down there?
100%.
Oh, okay.
I would hope so.
Wait,
I think
wait,
you could call
wait,
them math
hang on.
classes.
You used a math term. Do you know what 100%? No, I'm just teasing.
It's fun.
Yeah, no. Okay, so we want to make an integer. So just so everybody can see, I was talking about IntelliSense. I want to type on my side. So, oh, thanks, Slips, for clarifying it. Yeah, integer means number, Bubs. So,
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so just so everybody sees, this is what Bubs is seeing on his side when he types in anything. So when he typed string, it showed this. I'm just showing people on my end what it is. Okay, so what I want you to do, Bubs, is I want you to make an integer.
Okay.
And yes, as someone on my end mentioned, Wheatlaw mentioned, integer's a round number. So that means so an integer's a whole number, so no fractions.
No fractions,
okay, so
decimals.
Go ahead and type int. And then, where'd you type that?
No, I didn't have the window selected. I was typing in Twitch chat.
Okay. So
INT.
then space, and I want you to name this variable again. And this time I want you to call it times, like TIMES. Yep, like that. And then space equals. And then another space, and choose a number that you like. Just type one in. There you go. And then put a semicolon.
Okay.
Okay, so what that is going to do is that is going to take the number 17 and it's going to store that in a variable named times in your program. And now that we have this, I just want to use it once. So I want to do one thing, and I'm going to show you where to do it. So we're going to go right here where my cursor is. Let me do that. So go ahead to where my cursor's blinking, put your cursor there, and type in the word FOR, and then hit tab.
Okay.
Did it work? Oh, nope, sorry. Hang on, type the word, so when you type the word for, so type it again. I forgot to tell you something. You should have a drop down that appears in front of you. And everybody else should see this drop down too. So if you installed all the stuff that I told you, you should have the same set of drop downs that Bubs has. If you cursor down, so like the down arrow on your keyboard, the second option should pop out an extra box on the right hand side. And I'll do then I'll do this on my end for people in mind to see as well. But the second one should say C# in the name. Do you see that on the right hand side of the second one?
Yep. So when I go down to the second one on the right hand side, it says for loop, the same thing, C#.
Correct. So tab when you have that selected.
Okay. Got it.
There you go.
And a bunch of things happen.
Yeah. So it put in some code for you, and this is called a code snippet. And a code snippet is really useful. We all, like professional developers, we literally use these like thousands of times, like just over and over and over again, because I could type this in my sleep. I know how to do. This looks like complicated code, but you have no idea how many times I have used this or
That's
something
impressive.
like it. So, okay, so what I want you to do is hit the tab key one time.
From where I was, right? Tab key. Got it.
And now, instead of the word length, I want you to write the word times, spelled the same way that you named your variable.
So I'm going to delete that and then type in times.
Yep, and then hit tab one more time.
Got it.
And now your cursor's inside of the for loop. So remember I told you, curly braces delimit a block of code. And so within a block of code, certain things happen. So this one that I told you to ignore for now, this one that's static void main that I've got highlighted up here, this is the block of code that is your main method in your application, your program that you're running. This is executed by default when your program starts. It just runs this in order, right? So what we're going to do is we're adding in what's called a for loop. And a for loop basically says, run this same code for a certain amount of time, for a certain number of times. And Bubs, can you guess how many times we're going to run the code inside of that for loop?
17.
Wow, he's brilliant, everybody. Good job, Bubs. So I want you to copy. Oh, this is hilariously convenient. Go ahead and copy line 17.
Okay, copy line 17. Sure.
And actually cut line 17 and put it on line 14.
Okay, in between the for loops, right?
Inside the for loop. So it is now the code inside the for loop. And this is going to get ugly. Trust me. Let me clean up our code a little bit here. Go ahead and save this.
Control S, done.
You get one guess on what is about to happen, and then go down into the terminal and .NET run this.
Okay, I'm going to guess. It is going to run our greetings 17 times, is my guess.
You are correct, and then say thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
There we go.
There it goes.
so there it is.
Wow, that's awesome. Very cool.
You chose a great number there, Bubs. Great number.
I did. Well, I was MrBubzTV17, so I don't know what my obsession is with that number. So that's the first thing I thought of.
So there you go. So it wrote it 17 times, and if so you can probably see that on both of our screens. A whole bunch of Brendan and I welcome you to our learning module. Okay, so I'm not going to explain how the for loop works yet. Just know that you can use that to do something a number of times. And a later stream will explain how it works. Because it's only slightly complicated. Once you understand, so with pretty much everything in programming, it's complicated until you understand it. So like that's basically how all of our stuff works. Even for like so take any professional developer that's in my stream and I will tell them the same thing. Whenever they're learning something new, it's like, no, it's complicated until it clicks. Once it clicks, then you're like, oh no, this isn't actually complicated anymore. But until that point, it's complicated. So that's why if you ever hear me say like, yeah, this thing's simple or easy, it's like it means it will be as soon as you get it. So never feel bad about not understanding something. Okay.
Got it.
So we print that out 17 times. So that works out pretty well. Now you're probably saying, okay, cool. Where's the interesting stuff? How do we do something more interesting? Well, we can do something more interesting right now. So go ahead to go to your greeting and add that $sign back in.
Sure. Was it in front of the quotes or inside it? I don't remember. I think it was in front of it, right? Like this?
Hey, yep, it is just like that.
Got it.
Okay, so now I want you to do one other thing. Let's go up to, I'm going to create some new lines up here. Put some code on line 9. So, and if you have to tab over a couple of times, hit the tab key. It actually inserts in spaces, but, we'll pretend that it was tabs.
Sure.
So now that you're over here, I want you to go ahead and type console.readline and capital C on console and capital R and capital L for readline.
Console, do I put the actual dot or spell out the word dot?
An actual dot. So it's going to look like the right line.
Oh, I see. Console dot.
And as you start typing dot readline, the text should start helping you.
Yeah, I see it there.
See it?
Then,
if you highlight it and hit tab, it will actually complete it with the right casing for you. Like
Perfect.
that. Now use, so open parentheses. So that's like shift and then the 9 key on your keyboard probably. Yep, just like that. Notice the text editor actually put the closing one in there for you.
Sure.
So
And
that's
actually, I noticed to change the text to yellow as well for read line.
Yeah. Yep. Because it knows what this thing is. Hilariously, it doesn't do that on my end, but don't worry about that.
Okay.
So I'm not really in this code. I'm just looking at your code. That's why my experience is slightly different. So now what I want you to do is, so that's the code that we wanted to write. I wanted you to see that with the auto-completion. I want you to do something else. And actually, so now on line 9 again, I want you to start typing again. And I want you to type in lowercase int, and then a dot, and then capital P, and you're going to write the word parse. So it's P-A-R-S-E, just with a capital P. The rest is lowercase. And then an open parentheses again.
Okay. It says a bunch of things came up, but I guess I'm not tabbing into those.
You're just taking the parse one. Now I'm going to take the code you wrote here, and this console write line, and I'm going to go ahead and copy it, and I'm going to paste it inside of that one.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
100%.
You can see this code? Okay, so I'm going to explain what we just did there and why I put that inside. So console write line, we're going to take a look at in a minute. But the value that console write line gets us, it's going to get us a value. We are going to pass that to our int.parse. So remember, with the console write line, we passed the string to it, and it printed that out. In this case, we're giving the results that console read line gets to int.parse. Now, I'm kind of skipping one step because I just want to jump to this one right now, but I think this is going to be a small enough step that it'll make sense to everybody. So go ahead and create a variable on this line, and actually, let me do this. I'm actually going to take this code here. I'm just going to cut this. I'm going to get rid of your number 17. I'm going to put it right there. And I'll explain what these methods do once we use them. So this line that I just put your cursor on there, type in a console write line again. So just add another one of those.
Read line, right?
Write line.
Right line this time.
Yep.
Got it.
And open parentheses and put in another string, so another double quotes. So now I want you to say pick a number. Just type in the word pick a number. That's what you're going to be printing there. Okay. And then at the end of this line, put a semicolon.
Oops.
There you go. Okay, great. So now run this. Run this code.
Let's take a look. What did we do? Let's see what we did.
Let me see your screen. Did we save this? Save it first, Bubs.
I didn't. Nope, I didn't. Got it.
Let's save it, then run it. Okay. It says pick a number. So type in a number, Bubs.
We'll pick a smaller one this time. Let's put 4.
Okay, hit enter.
Cool. So we created something that we got to choose how many times our greeting was going to come up.
Exactly. So I'll explain those pieces now. I wanted you to get that because I wanted you to see it happen. So slips, yes, VS Code is free. Everything that Bubs and I are using for all this stuff is totally free. I had Bubs downloaded earlier today. Bubs, how long did it take to install all just the VS Code related stuff?
Just the VS Code related stuff was probably about 3 minutes. It was very quick. Yeah.
There you go. And the instructions, for anyone who is wondering, I've posted them a couple of times in my chat, and I'm going to post them again in Bubs' chat as well. The various stuff that you need to install in order to do the same kind of thing we're doing. So feel free to watch along while we're doing it. And if you didn't get started at the beginning and you want to follow along, you can watch. There'll be video recordings of both of these streams afterwards. So just be sure. So the interesting thing is that I do actually want to mention is the editor we're using, VS Code, is a text editor that's actually commonly used for a lot of languages, not just C#. And I am going to make a comment about this because someone called out JavaScript on my stream. So if anyone knows JavaScript, this is like probably the most popular editor used by people writing JavaScript code now, which is hilarious. This is one of the most popular text editors for programming that exists today.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is actually very surprising because you would not expect a Microsoft-made product would be super popular among non-Microsoft devs. So it's kind of weird. Don't worry, Sam Squanch.
Sam Squanch.
Okay,
Sam
I got it right.
Squanch. That's correct. Yep, that's correct.
Yep. No.
Met him at TwitchCon, by the way. Very
oh,
nice guy.
nice. Yeah. So no, it is not Java. It is. Yeah, exactly. As someone mentioned, Java and JavaScript are not the same thing. So, okay. So, Bubs, we're able to do this. So you can actually get some output there. So that's actually really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So as the quick explanation, we typed in this value as a string, this pick a number, and then you typed in the number 4 in the chat, right?
Mm-hmm.
You typed in 4, and then that's why we printed out 4 things. So console readline brought in 4, right? That read what you typed in. You probably figured that out.
Mm-hmm.
And what we did with it is we actually converted it to an integer. Now, when I say converted it to an integer, what I mean is this. I could do this instead. So let me delete this. Whoops. So that is the input that int.parse received when you typed it in. So anything you do with a console read line comes in as a string. So it comes in as text, right? Because you were typing in a keyboard, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that terminal window. So you could have typed in for FOUR, right? And it probably would have been like, what? I don't know how to turn that into an integer, right? Because that's just like an English word, right? That's not the symbol for the number. But
Correct.
this, it knows how to parse. And this is what you typed in. Because if we gave it 4 like this, it wouldn't know what to do with it. But if we give it 4, it does. So anytime you're typing in something, that comes in as a string. That's just how it works. So I mentioned that we have types. So notice that that is red and it's surrounded by quotes. We also, when we looked at this, and no one has to follow along for this part, so you can just watch this. But like, I can type in the number 21, and notice that it's a different color. And I could type in, any other number that I want, right? And those are numbers. And then if I say string, that's a string. So these are actually stored in different ways as different kinds of things inside the program. You don't know, like, I don't need you to fully understand how types and things like that work. I just want you to understand that it is a concept that exists. So if you run into something like this in the future, you or anyone else watching runs into this kind of thing, you might be like, oh, I have a string, I need a number. And then you'd at least know to Google, hey, how to convert from a string to a number in whatever language you're programming in. Does that make sense?
Indeed it does.
Okay. The way that we do that in C# is we ask to int.parse. So we say parse out the int from this string is the idea. So we're saying, hey, this string contains an integer. Why don't you go ahead and parse the int out of that? And that's just, it's an English word, so if you're a non-native English speaker, basically that's all that is. It's just saying,
right.
Get it out of there. Read it from that is really what that means. So that codes back to the way you left it, Bubs. I'm done making my change there. I just wanted to do that to kind of illustrate what we were looking at, what we were doing. Okay. So there's output and input. So those are the two basic things we want to do. Let's make something slightly more interesting than just printing out your message a bunch of times.
Okay.
Someone in my chat asked about a while loop. So let's do that. So I want you to make a new variable.
Okay.
So let's do it right up at the top. So make a new line. So, hit enter up there where you are right now.
Cool.
No, we're using it anyways, Ultralord. So go ahead and say string. And then space, and then let's make this one Bub's password. And now I want you to type in your password, your bank account information, your routing.
Got it. Here it is, guys.
No. So go ahead and equals sign, and then do quotes. And I want you to type in like password, for example, right? Because why not?
Yep. Yeah.
And then put a semicolon on the end of the line.
Okay.
Janisku, that is the idea. We're going to do something like that eventually. Okay, so there's our password. Password is Bub's password. Yes, it is, Slips. Yes, it is. All right.
Just so I don't subconsciously type in whatever a password might be for something that's real. So
exactly. Yeah. That's why we need it to be super fake. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna make an adjustment to your casing. Okay. So I'm gonna make that a capital P.
Got it.
Now this is not super relevant to too much, except that it is very common in most programming languages that we use some kind of way to distinguish words. So you'll notice in like this console write line and console read line that we've got here, that it has capital L for line. Now, in that one you could probably read it, but sometimes long words, it gets hard to distinguish between them. So like they blend together. So we use variances in casing to tell them apart. Okay, so we want to make an application now that guesses Bubs's, where you can try to guess Bubs's password. This sounds fun, doesn't it?
Indeed it does.
Okay, so what I want you to do is make another variable. This one you're going to call guess. So string,
start a new
variable.
line.
Yep, new line, string.
String variable.
No, guess. Name of it's guess. As in
guess.
Yep.
Like this?
Yep, exactly.
Got it.
And then, again, assign that to an empty string. And I think you can probably figure out what that means.
Equals...
This is our... So double quote, and then a semicolon.
Double quote, and a semicolon. That's it. Oh.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep, there you go. Okay. So... I'm going to move this. I'm going to add some new lines. We're going to move this stuff out of the way because we aren't going to need it. So I'm actually going to do something fancy with it. So all that text turned green. And what that means, any line that is preceded by 2 forward slashes, that is called a comment. And what that means is... that is code that we can read, and it is not used by the program. So the program will ignore that code. It will not run anything that starts with / Does that make sense?
Yep.
So you can leave yourself notes, like you could say this is called a comment. You might be like, not my real password, like that kind of thing, right? And so sometimes you do that as a way of being like, oh, this is why I wrote it this way, or this is what this means, like if there's something confusing, you can make yourself little notes like that. Okay, next thing we want to do, we want to actually make this work. So go to that spot where I just put some spaces, 13. So put your cursor there, yep. Go ahead and type in the word while, and again, when you get the IntelliSense that pops down, choose the one that says C# while loop, or while loop C#, and then hit tab. There you go. So while true, which is not what we want. So instead of true, I want to say guess. So, and then space, and then exclamation point equals, right together, and then space Bub's password. There you go.
Cool.
Okay. So what this does is this now says, while the guess is not Bub's password, keep running the code in line 15. So do not run this yet, because this is what's called an infinite loop. There is no way for that to end because nothing
my
can change
goodness.
the value, right? So it'll just keep going.
Just out of pure curiosity and not knowing anything, what happens if I did run it?
It just keeps running forever.
Forever?
And then I have to
how
tell
do you make it stop?
Well, with your cursor inside the terminal, you hit Control-C, which, yes, that is the same keyboard shortcut you do for copying text.
Copy.
Yep. But don't think of it as that. Think of it as cancel. So that's how you remember. You want to cancel your program.
Gotcha. Okay.
Do you need to be careful comparing strings in C# like other languages? I heart coding's strings. Which type of care are you wondering about? I heart coding. We need to be careful that we didn't do an assignment here. Is one thing, and string comparisons are fairly safe. It is going to be a case-sensitive comparison, but we want that for a password check. Okay, so anyway, line 15, Bubs. Put your cursor there. We're going to go ahead and do some code there.
Okay.
Oh, and that is actually a very good point. Someone in my stream actually mentioned that if people have questions, you can hop in our Discord and they can explain it. So apparently there are people answering questions in my Discord, maybe. I don't know if there are or not, but there are plenty of people there. Hey, Rubik's, welcome. Okay, so in this line, so hit to the right one time, Bubs. You're not in the right space. There's another space to your right. There you go. Now you're in the better spot.
Right there. Yeah. Got it.
Okay. So now type in guess space equals and say space console.readline. Capital C. Yep.
Yep.
Open parentheses, close parentheses, and semicolon. And if you type in that close paren, even though it already filled one in, it will actually just let you type. It'll just shift you to the right. It will not double it. Does that make sense? So you did it right. So the text editors, when I said this is a very advanced text editor, I'm not kidding. Like, it's very smart. It figures out, oh, we did that for you, but you still typed it anyway? Okay, we won't double it up.
No problem. We'll fix it.
Yeah, we're not stupid about this. We know what you did. We know what you meant. Okay, so now we can run this code.
Okay. Now we can Control S and run it. .NET run.
Okay, so you can see he's running the code down here. And we didn't actually we didn't give ourselves any instructions. So type in something down there and hit enter.
Type in something.
Sure.
And hit enter.
Okay, try again.
Okay, I did hit enter. Do I hit enter again?
Yeah, no, type in whatever you want. Hit enter.
Oops.
You can hit enter as many times as you want, Bubs.
Oh.
Or type in new values if you like.
Sure. 167.
Try typing in the word password in all lowercase. Hey, there we go. And now you're out.
Interesting.
Right? So what was going on there is every time you typed in something that wasn't password, we were on line 15 waiting for you to type, and it brought us back up, and it said, oh, nope, that wasn't it, and tried it again, right?
I was trapped in the terminal.
Yeah,
at least that's what it felt like.
do this. Right on this line, at line 15, let's do a console write line.
Okay.
And yes, someone is correct, but I did not want to start that way because that's confusing. Wheatlaw made a suggestion in my chat of what I should have started with, and while that's technically true, it's more confusing. Okay, so open parens, put in a message here.
Oops, I got it. Open parentheses, double quotes.
Yep, exactly. And then there you go. You mean the right, like RIGHT?
Sorry.
Florida public schools, everyone. Florida public schools.
I didn't go to public school.
Oh, you didn't go to public? Dang it.
Wrong again. I was thinking console write line. I'm trying to put my mind in a developer's world.
Hang on a second, Bubs.
Let's type in the right password. There you go.
Got you covered there, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, it figures that it's playing those. I told it to turn off my alerts and everything, and it triggered anyway. So that's cool. All right, so go ahead and run this now, and let's see what it tells us. Should be good.
Okay, save. Here we go. Please type in the right password. Let's type in something that's incorrect. Like Randonius is the best.
Oh, no,
Nope.
Randonius, that's not right.
Randonius is not the best. Geez, it must be this word then.
Hey, there you go.
Yes.
So, okay, so a lot of people are probably thinking like, yeah, that's pretty simple thing. Like we can do much better than that, right? And we can, but this is a good starting point. So I'm actually going to delete all the code that we've got down here because we don't. So all the stuff we left commented out, I'm just going to get rid of it. We don't need that anymore because our new code has basically all the same stuff, and we should be able to figure it out. How far over does Bub's screen go? You probably don't have word wrap on. Okay, so we can guess a password. So this becomes a guessing game, right?
Right.
Oh! One of my mods just made a suggestion there. Hang on, Bubs, got you covered. He wants extra security, so we're gonna put password. There you go. Now we got you covered there, Bubs. Perfect. Your password has been made secure.
No.
No, Rubik's, you need a capital P on there. So you have uppercase, lowercase, you have a number
hacker-proof.
and symbols. Hacker proof. No one's getting that thing.
No one's getting that thing. Good suggestion. I liked it.
Please do not use plain text retrieval for passwords. Yes. No, don't actually write your password system this way. In fact, I would say don't even write your own password system. It's actually a really bad idea. Okay, so we're not going to do passwords. Let's make a guessing game.
Okay.
So let's do this. We're going to say secret number equals.
Ooh. I wish I could hide this from the screen. We could just actually play the actual game.
We can, Bubs.
Oh, I see what you did. I see what you did.
Let's hope my word wrap's turned off, otherwise we're going to lose that. Okay, there we go. I got that all the way off the screen for you too, right?
Yeah, it's not nice. On my screen whatsoever.
No one can see that secret number now.
No. Nope.
All right, so.
Not even I.
So here's what we need to do. We want to be able to guess that number in our program. So you've played the games where you do like the, higher, lower, kind of thing, right? Let's do a higher, lower guessing game.
Sure.
Okay, so I recently deleted the code that you would be able to copy, so I'll tell you how to write it again. But here's what we're going to do. So we no longer need Bubs' password.
Nope.
And we had a suggestion from someone to do something a different way. So we're going to do that. So here's what we're going to do. I want you to type in the word do, like D-O. And then you should have an IntelliSense suggestion, the C# do while loop.
The second one, yep.
Yep. Hit tab for that one. There you go. And say do while, and then instead of the word true, we'll say, and actually let me change this, we're going to have int guess equals
integer guess, right.
-1. So -1 is, so since we're only looking for positive numbers, -1's a good way of telling ourselves that's, we know it's not going to match. And say inside of your while loop, do while guess does not equal secret number. So
say it again.
Guess.
Yep. Guess.
Exclamation point equals, which means not equal. And secret number.
Space, I would imagine, right?
Yep.
Yep.
And then secret number right there.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. I'm going to steal your code from here. I'm going to move it up to the do while loop. We're going to get rid of this loop. So this is a new kind of loop. So we've looked so far at the while loop, at the for loop, and this one's called a do while loop. Now, right now you should notice a couple of things. So let's say
Guess the
change
right
this
number.
text from please type in the right password to like please guess, or guess the number or something, right? That right? Okay. Okay. Now you might notice there's a red squiggle on console.readline.
Yes, there is.
Okay, so console.readline, you'll remember I had this conversation with you a little while ago, and I said, don't worry about it. I want you to understand that the concept exists, but we'll explain it as it comes up. This has a type. So console.readline returns a string. What did I do up here on line 11?
Change it to the integer.
I changed guess to an integer. So we can't assign guess equal to console readline anymore. We need the integer.
So console dot.
So after the equals sign, so right over here around where my cursor is, we want to do that int parse thing that we did before. So space, and then I'll tell you what to type, int dot, and then parse with a capital P, and then open parentheses, and then put the console read line in between those parentheses. So you could delete that one and put it at the end of the line, for example. Or you can cut that and paste it in. Either one works.
Yep. And then delete the rest of the...
Yep, and remember, read line needs that open close parentheses for it to work as well.
Oh, inside it?
Yep. So open close parentheses inside the other parentheses. Yep. Like that.
There it is.
So console readline is what we call a method. And that's why it's got those parentheses. A method can have an input. So kind of like in console.writeline, how we passed in this string here, so that I'm highlighting right there, that's what we passed to writeline. In console.readline, we don't pass it anything, but we still need the parentheses. So a method is like, think of it like a chunk of code, a reusable piece of code that we can call multiple times. So in this case, we can call writeline as many times as we want. We can call int.parse as many times as we want. And we don't have to write there, like I'm sure you get that there is code behind each one of those that actually does something. This is how we wrap up code into a chunk that we can reuse. Some people asked in my chat who Bubs is. Bubs is that guy up in the corner. You can see a picture of him on my stream. Bubs is I don't know, how would you describe yourself? A streamer?
Yep.
Like a gaming streamer.
In which Brendan pulled from the internet to teach me how to code today.
Yes, exactly.
And we've known each other for quite some time via Twitch, and he invited me to do a learning stream, if you will.
I thought it would be kind of fun. Okay.
This is fun. This is fun.
Oh, whoops. Someone tried to link something in my chat, and
your DevChatter bot went haywire.
No, Nightbot yelled at him, not my bot.
Oh, Nightbot, yeah.
Okay, so we say guess the right number, and we're going to parse it into there. So I could tell you to run this, but I don't want you to run this yet, because you won't be able to guess the number, right? Because I could have typed in anything. You have no idea what I typed in. And this would take you forever. So let's not do that.
No.
Let's make this easier. So here's what we can do. That's funny. I did this as a do while loop, and I actually shouldn't have here. Well, that's funny. We're not going to do a do while loop. We're going to do the other. We're going to do a regular while loop. So I will do the quick switch.
Sure.
Switcheroo. Okay. So we're going to say while guess does not equal secret number, right? Which at the beginning it doesn't, because the secret number I chose is not -1. Surprise! I know you're really surprised by this. Okay, but here's what we want to do. Down here, I want you to type in a new thing that we have not done yet. So tab yourself over to like on line 18, so you're at the same. Yep, there you go.
Got it.
And then say if, and again choose the one that says it's for C#.
if on the second one, tab, if
Yep,
true.
there you go. And instead of true, say,
Yep.
I'm going to let you figure out how to do this. Guess less than secret number. You get one guess, Bubs, and I'm betting you can figure it out. I have confidence.
The integer parse.
Nope. Guess is an integer. Secret number is an integer. How do you detect that guess is less than secret number?
How do I type in that guess is less than secret number? Guess exclamation
How did
point?
we see if
Equals?
guess equals secret number? How did we do that already? Look on line 13. What did we do?
Yeah, while guess exclamation point equals secret number.
And that was while guess does not equal secret number.
Does not equal. Right. Yep.
So if we want to say if guess is less than secret number, how do you think we do that?
With the actual less than sign instead of an exclamation
Go for
point?
it. Try it. Yeah.
All right. Let's give it a whirl.
That's what I meant when I'm like, I'm sure you can. Like, I'm sure you will guess that.
I thought it was a trick question. I was like, man, I don't know, because exclamation point is not the symbol for does not equal unless I'm incorrect.
It's the way we do it in this programming language. I
Exactly.
removed the equals sign because we want less than. Which, by
less
the
than
way,
equals,
this is actually what you typed in is a valid operator in C#. This is less than or equal.
Or equal, correct?
Yep.
Yep.
But the point is, you know exactly what that is. So
Yep.
duplicate. So highlight what I just did. Duplicate that line. We're gonna do it the other way now too.
Okay, where at? Sorry. So I duplicate which line?
Duplicate the whole if block.
If block. Okay, so just copy it. Correct.
The whole block. So everything down to
I
there
see.
because we want the curly braces too.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. There you go. And then paste it in right after the other one. So like make a new line at 21 to go to 22. And there you go. Paste that in. And switch from a less than sign to a greater than sign.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if guess is less than secret number and guess is greater than secret number. Okay. Put a console right line in each one of those to give yourself some help.
Console right line under it or in the same line?
Right here.
Got it. So start a new console right line.
Yep, do a console right line there.
Okay. And then open parentheses, double quotes.
Exactly.
And we're going to put in, my guess is that needs to be lower if it's greater than.
Guess is less than our number. So, yeah, say lower. Yeah, guess lower.
Yeah, guess lower. Exactly.
Yeah. Copy that. Put it down in line 24.
And guess greater.
Say guess. Yep, exactly.
Very cool. I'm a regular hacker over here now.
Actually, we say, guess. Sorry.
Did we do it backwards?
No. We just have to say.
Guess is
Hider.
Got it.
There. We'll do this.
Got it.
There we go.
Prototype
Text.
04 says it's the other way around. Did we do that correct? I think it's correct.
Guess is lower than number. Guess is higher than number. Yeah, we guessed lower. We guessed higher.
Got it.
Okay. Sounds good, prototype. Yep. Okay,
yeah,
we're good.
Yep, that makes sense now. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. All right, so
Save
now
it.
I think save this, and I think you can. I think you can run it.
Let's give it a whirl.
Wait! Before you do that,
Yep.
we almost forgot. Come down here, console right line. You need to congratulate yourself on your success.
Okay, I like that.
It would have been terrible if we ran this and it would have just been the dullest finish. You've been like, oh, we got cool. It did nothing.
Great, you got it. All right.
Great.
Thanks for playing.
Fun. Yeah, this was
Yep.
awesome. No, this is a celebration moment.
Right. Let's do it. I want to celebrate. So how do we celebrate? Just another console right line?
Yep, just console right line. Just print out some awesome message that you want to say. Like, oh wait, hang on, I got it.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic.
And I really hope that everybody knows what I'm referencing with that.
That's great.
Bubs, you know what I'm talking about, right? Christmas Story?
I think, yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, okay.
Christmas Story. Okay,
Christmas
perfect.
Story.
That's great. Awesome. So, so the console write line, will it appear just automatically if you guess correctly like that?
Okay, so here's the way this code. So the way this code's going to work, while guess is not equal to secret number, we're going to continue running the code inside of this loop. Okay. Inside of this loop, we're going to start off by printing out the message. We're going to ask for input, and then what we're going to say is we're going to print out this message if their guess was low, and we're going to print out this message if their guess was high. Does that make sense? Yes. Once the numbers equal, we will exit the while loop, which means we'll exit everything after this. We'll run everything after this, which is this. So as soon as your guess equals your number, we're going to print that out. So this is saved, so go ahead and run now. Let's see it.
All right.
You'll awesome. Shoot your eye out. All right, so guess the number, Bubs.
Okay. I'm going to go with Old Faithful, which I'm sure you there we go. Please guess the correct number.
Oh, guess is higher than the number. Okay.
Guess is higher than the number. All right, so we're going to go guess is higher than that number?
Yep.
Yeah, no, so I need to guess higher,
no, secret number is lower. You guessed higher.
Okay. Oh, I see. Yep. Yes, my guess is higher than the number, correct. All right, 10. My guess is lower, so I got to go higher. 15. Wow, okay.
You targeted in. You're almost there.
Stay on target. Yay! Drink my
you got it.
Woo! All right. 13. I Heart Coding got it correct as well. Nice.
There you go. Okay.
There we go.
But, the cool thing is that I could just go change that number and you could play again. But I want to show you something neat. So I hid this number, right? Over here, so everybody can see I had in the number 13 way over on the side.
Okay.
But when I come back here, let's do something else. I'm going to teach you about another method. So go ahead and get your cursor there on that secret number line.
Another number there? Just any? Is that what you're saying?
No, we're not going to put in. We're not going to put your cursor right where mine is. Right before that semicolon.
Right there.
Okay, and then you're going to type in the word random, starting with a capital R.
Random. Looks like there's only one option on that drop down.
Hang on, random dot. Nope. Sorry, I meant to do this. Type in the word new and then new space random. I told you the wrong thing. And then open and close parentheses. And don't worry about what that means. And then put a dot. Sorry, after the closing parens.
Got it.
And say next with a capital N. And open parentheses. And then the number 1, and then a comma, and then a 101. And I'll explain what you just did. The question, so a question in my chat, convert to int and int.parse don't work the same way, but will achieve the same result. Someone asked a question about that. They technically do a different thing. Okay, so, Mr. Bubs, what do you think this code does?
The secret number that we're going to guess is going to be randomly generated from this code?
Yes.
Cool.
I'm going to do this right now. Random generator equals that.
Wow, so now we can even play without having to input our own number.
So random number generator we're going to call right here, and we're going to say next. So it's going to pick a number between 1 and 100. Whoa. So the top number is exclusive. And we want, well, here, I'll make it easier for you. There you go, Bubs. He complained that it was too difficult.
Oh, no, I wasn't complaining it was difficult.
Mr. Bubs is whining.
I was ready to go. We should get the chat to play, though.
Did you learn that one from your daughter there, Bubs?
Let's get the chats involved.
Okay. Have the chat guess. That's fine.
We'll do the chats. Both chats can guess.
So make sure you save this and go ahead and run, and make sure you can see the chats.
Yep.
Actually, I'm going to improve our message. I'm going to improve our messages. So we're just going to say
higher.
Guess higher.
Yep. And lower.
Lower.
And we'll start in order as it looks like people already started typing in.
Okay, so we have some guesses.
Yeah.
So go ahead and run the program. It should be. I think I saved.
Yeah, and then here we go. So we'll run it, and we'll start with Naki's number. Let's see the first to get it. So the first one was 27.
It's lower than 27. So
Boko is actually
Boko's guess is valid. Yep.
It's lower than 22, guys. So 44, 42, and 45 are invalid. So we got 18 from iHeartCoding.
Oh, yeah, okay. iHeartCoding at 18. What do we got?
Lower. Draco at 12. And it's lower.
Oh, man, it's below 12. Oh,
it's below 12, guys.
Oh, sorry, Slips. Yeah, we're already under 13, Slips.
It's going to be slight delays on both streams, so we'll do our best. Let's go with 8 from Boko, or Bokjo, sorry. It's lower than 8.
Oh man,
it's lower than 8. Let's go with. I want to go with Draco's guess first because if it is 2, Naki's gonna get it, right? So, does that make sense, or should we go with just in order? No, let's go in order 2 because then if it's higher, it'll tell us to go higher. It is
okay. It is higher.
So Draco
with a 6.
He got it. There it is.
Okay. So it was 6.
So Draco, drink your Ovaltine. Man, that was unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh, that's
everything was lower.
I saw yours. iHeartCoding. Yep.
He did say 6 first. Oh, I didn't see it. Okay.
There you go. I wouldn't worry about it. There was no prize, Bubs. There's no prize.
Hey, there is a prize. I don't know. I'm just gonna play some random Zelda sound on my stream now. You got it. iHeartCoding got it.
Yeah. There you go.
There we go.
Wait, hang on. Bonus. iHeartCoding 2. There you go. I just gave iHeartCoding 2 coins in my chat.
There we go.
There
exactly.
Go. Congratulations.
That makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense.
Okay, so isn't that pretty cool? You can make so we've already got like this basic little guessing game, higher lower guessing game. Mm-hmm. And for anyone that has shown up late, Bubs, how long have you been coding now?
1 hour and 20 minutes.
Wow, what a coincidence. We've been streaming for 1 hour and 22 minutes. That's nuts.
Yep. Mm-hmm. We've both been streaming for 1 hour and 20. Yep.
So that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This comment. So I want to teach everyone a lesson about coding comments. And this is actually something that everybody in my chat like the professional programmers that are in there are totally going to get. And I really, really hope are laughing about this right now because they probably see what's wrong. Bubs, what can you tell me about that comment that I have highlighted there in the app?
Not my real password. Well, I mean, we're not running anything that has to do with passwords at this point.
No, we're not. So one of the funniest things. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Uh-huh.
What were you saying?
No. Go ahead.
I was just saying that one of the funny things about comments is they almost immediately are wrong. Like because we change our code all the time, they're so often wrong. Like they're useful. Like when you need to explain something, but a lot of times like comments are just wrong. So if you see a comment that's wrong, fix it or delete it. One or the other. In this case, I deleted it.
Yeah. Thank you. Just real quick before we continue with something new, because I know we both don't have a link set up, so I did want to thank some people that came from your stream over and followed me.
Oh, yeah.
So just real quick, Draco401, thank you so much. ChaosB666 had hosted me. I appreciate that. IVXCS2, I'm sorry, thank you, has followed as well. And Sushinator, shout out to you as well. Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
I guess I should probably do the same thing.
Yeah, we'll just take a quick minute.
Slips 4L, thank you for following. And well, I know Daver GTS from your stream as well. So Slips.
Yes, Daver, thank you.
And XX Beast Modian, Beast Mode on. I can read. Awesome. And SNB, the 4-month resale. Thank you.
That's that education from wherever you're from. Am I right? Ooh,
exactly.
Got him back. Yeah.
That would be Ohio based.
That's right, Ohio.
The DL guy, thanks for following, and Twitch Love, thank you very much for the 134 biddies.
Whoa, biddies! That's great. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
We'll with a comment, we'll refactor later, and exactly.
Very fun. This is great.
Okay, so cool. All right. Any other? So I guess we'll take a moment. Welcome everybody. My name is Brendan. If you're just showing up late and the other person talking, why don't you tell them your name?
Sure, I'm MrBubzTV, not a coder. Well, I'm a coder. I have an hour and 20 minutes of experience, as we just talked about. I normally stream video games, but Brendonius, I've known him for quite some time, Brendan, and invited me to teach me how to code, and I'm impressed with how much I know in just a short amount of time. So, welcome, guys.
So, welcome. See, let's go ahead and change something about this code. So we're generating random numbers. We're picking random numbers. Why don't we make it a little bit harder? But then we're going to make it easier. And Nikki Super's right. You're going to be running your own games in no time. So let's go.
Actually, it's funny. If I just made it's a quick 2-second story. So a lot of people know that I have. So I normally stream World of Warcraft. A lot of people know that I have a problem with the current state of the game. So someone in my chat recently earlier made a joke that was like, "Now you can go back and work for Blizzard and change the game to what we all want it to be, like in vanilla stages." I'm like, perfect.
Yeah.
Now I can.
Exactly. So
maybe several more sessions of this stuff.
One of the funny things that I do actually want to clarify here, Bubs, because you commented about this, you are already programming. So don't let anybody tell you that you know, like you don't know how to code or anything like that, because you already do. You have written code. There's obviously much more to learn, but you have coded, thus you are a coder.
Well, sign me up for more of these sessions, Brendan. This is great.
So a couple of other things that I want to do here. So you may have noticed I just made a change on line 10.
Okay.
I made the random number generator pick a bigger number. Let's make this still possible to win. Because right now, you're going to have a lot of trouble. It's going to take a long time to guess to the correct number here. Right?
Right.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's tell ourselves if it's much higher or much lower.
Oh, I see. So like an additional line of code that would say if it's very far off, it'll tell us it's much higher, and if we're closer to it, will it just indicate that it's higher?
So let's do this. So let's make string message.
Okay.
Okay. And what I want you to put in message is nothing right there. It's good being empty.
Okay.
So inside of the, so let's say down here where my cursor is, go ahead and say if guess does not equal secret number.
Sorry, down where your cursor was.
Oh, actually, hang on. Let's.
Right.
Let me do this. I'm going to move this up here. So move secret message all the way to the top. And the reason I did that is because we want this to exist. So let me show you one thing real fast. I'm going to actually put it back where it was. So message is right here. I'm going to take this text, this please guess the correct number, and I'm going to put it in the message variable. And then I want to take this message variable and I want to try to use it here. And I'm doing this to illustrate one thing. So now that I've done that, did anything happen on your end? Did it red squiggle? I'm hoping it did on your end because it didn't on mine.
It did. It red squiggled right after right line.
Good. So it's basically saying if you put your cursor over it, it would tell you that you can, in some weird technical way, that
cannot use local variable. Right.
Yes, because you're trying to use it before it exists. That would be like, you know, if I tried to, you know, take you out for like ice cream and a beer in like 1970, right? Bubs doesn't exist in 1970. I can't do that. Also, I didn't exist in 1970 either. So neither of us could do that. It's totally impossible, and that's what it's telling us.
So I can't make a time machine with C#.
Well, no, you can, but that's not how you do it.
Right.
What you have to do is you have to take that variable, so take line 18 and move that up before the while loop. So put it outside the while loop, put it at like line 12.
So just completely copy.
Yep. Cut that whole thing, move it up
to line 12.
Yep.
Done.
Okay. Now, one other thing that I'm going to fix the spacing there. One other thing I want to mention. So notice we say string message equals that. And before that, we said int guess equals that. But look at line 17. Notice we did not write the word int there. And I want to explain this because this is an important concept. So when you create a new variable, like we created the message variable or the guess variable or the secret number variable, we specify the type when we create it, or we say the word var. Either one of those things will create a new one. Once created, we can just go ahead and use it. If we need to reassign it to something else, that's what we're doing on line 17. So guess already exists. We created that on line 11. So guess equals, this new value. So we're saying, hey, I know you already have a value. Go ahead and set yourself to this new one, though, and just lose the old one, right? So that's basically what we're doing here. I want you to do this same thing, but with message. Does that make sense? Yep.
So within the while loop there.
What I want you to do is take message, and inside the while loop, assign its new value inside of these if statements. And we're gonna and watch what happens. And actually, before we implement the bigger guess, I'm gonna lower our random guessing back down to 51. So before we do the much higher and the much lower, I want to do this. So on line 21, get rid of the console write line.
Okay.
Just trust me, Bubs. You'll see what I'm talking about.
I'm trusting you. I'm trusting you. Okay.
And then hit tab again once you're there, and then you'll get to the right spot. And then say message equals. And then higher inside of quotes. Right? So this is going to be our new message.
Right.
And then put a semicolon at the end of the line, because every line that does something has a semicolon. I should clarify that because you'll notice there isn't one on the while or the if.
Right.
But anytime we do a statement, so these define blocks. Anytime you're defining a block, you don't use one. But any other line of code, you're going to have a semicolon. And that's just something you'll get used to over time as you program more.
Gotcha.
Hey, it's Dory. Hey, Dory. Welcome.
Yeah,
I mean, this could have been Diablo 2,
Yeah,
all right.
That's true.
So copy
we're
this.
Make Azeroth great
do the same thing on line 25, and instead of higher, make it lower.
Okay, so...
so just copy line 21, paste it on line 25, put in the text lower.
Got it.
Yeah, and so as Crimson Green is pointing out, this adding in the semicolon thing, that's something we do in C#. And it is not done in all programming languages. So only C-based programming, like languages with C syntax, have this.
Right.
Okay. So this code should be saved. Let's go ahead and run this, and you'll see how it works. It's going to work slightly differently from our previous code. So go ahead and just do the number guessing. We'll let the viewers guess the next one. So just go ahead and do this because I just want to see it real fast.
Sure.
So notice it just says lower. So previously it said higher or lower, and then said please guess the correct number. We're not saying please guess the correct number every time now. We're just saying higher or lower.
Right.
So there you go.
Oh my God.
What? Higher. 20 is not higher than...
I meant to time.
Oh, yeah, sure you did.
Fat fingers, man. There it is, 32
hey,
after
32.
a million guesses.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, so we got the number. We figured it out. Java is C-based. Yes, it is. Yep, that is correct.
Cool.
Okay, so what this is doing is every time we run the loop, we print out our message. Well, the first time through, we said that our message was please guess the correct number. The second time through, the variable has had its value changed to either higher or lower. And since we exit the loop, when we get down here, it doesn't, even though message still has the value of either higher, it doesn't have higher or lower. It has whatever the previous one was. So in this case, lower. We didn't change it because we didn't go into either of these because we were the number exactly, remember? Because guess is less than or greater than, but it's neither of those. It's equal. So we didn't go into either of these if statements in the last time through the loop. So we exited the loop and came down here and ran this code that says, please be sure to drink your Ovaltine.
I love that. I love that response when you get it right.
Good suggestion, Ed. We're totally going to implement this in machine learning to get this to work. Yeah, Ed's. Fuel Snable. There are a lot of languages that don't have semicolons. That's just how this one works. Okay, so cool. Let's go ahead and implement the bigger check. So this worked. We now want to be able to guess a number between 1 and 501. So this creates a problem. We've made the game harder, but in order to balance that, we need to make it a little easier for the player by giving them more information. So let's say if they're off by more than 50, we'll say much higher, and if they're or much lower, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
So I'm almost realizing, or kind of maybe just trying to free think here and guess myself what's going to happen next in this coding line. So I would imagine we're going to type in a string that'll say something like, or a line that'll say something like, if guess is greater than, and then there's going to be something else that I'm going to type there that's going to indicate greater than 50, right?
Kind of. So there's a lot of ways we can do this. That's the neat thing about programming. Bubs, we just had the best suggestion from chat from Twitchloft there. We need to pay to have the game guess for you.
Yes, that's how we line up our pockets, by just making a simple game.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this using a little bit of math knowledge. So go to the line that I just created up here.
Got it, 19.
All right. I want you to type in this new thing, and that is another if statement. So go ahead and type in if, choose the correct option from the drop-down, and actually, once you do that, just so everybody can see what that is, because I want everybody to see it on my end as well, so I'm going to delete and I'm going to type in the same thing you just did. So this popped up, and he picked this second option, and then hit tab, and it creates this, and then you have this highlighted, and you can type in there. So that's all highlighted yellow because Bubs has it highlighted on his side. So we're collaborating in this same code. So inside that if statement again, we need to figure out, are you off by 50 or more? Because that would be much higher, right? You're way off. You should adjust your number by at least 50. So if we know that you're way off, the way we could do that is we could do guess minus secret number, right?
If guess minus
secret number.
Space or
Yep, exactly.
Got it.
Yep, so like that. And if we say if that is less than is greater than 50, right? So just say greater than, so space greater than 50.
Oh, cool. And I like how it actually popped up green on my screen, so that it I guess it's like indicating that it's part of that integer.
So down here, so we're saying if the result of this, if that calculation is greater than 50, then we want to say message equals much.
Oops. Whoop. How did I just go back up? There you go.
I'll fix it. No, just say much.
Much?
Actually, we could do it. Let's do it the way you did. That'll be, yours will be easier. Yours will make more sense. Say much higher.
Okay.
And let's flip and actually make it much lower.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yep. That makes more sense.
So your guess minus that had a more than 50 point difference, which means you need to guess much lower.
Much lower, yep.
Because there was a whole lot of extra guess left. So let's do this. So we're going to copy that, paste it, and then let's reverse for this second one. Let's switch these numbers, so secret number minus guess instead, and change it to much higher. Yep, sorry, Nakey Super is correct. I said 50 or greater than or equal to 50.
Yes.
I said at least. You're correct.
Okay, so this second line right here would be like this, though, right?
Nope.
And then much higher.
Nope. Greater than 50 on the difference, right? So you have to. So let's think of some examples. Let's make it clear because this will probably help us. So let's say so if we guess the number, so we'll say guess 300 minus secret of 37 greater than or equal to well, let's just say what it equals, right? Then this would be 263, right? And that's definitely greater than that. Down on this one, if we do secret of 37, wait, you need to guess, we need to guess higher on this one. So let's make the secret be 300 minus a guess of 50 equals 250. Right? So notice in both of these cases, if we write it this way, the number is always greater than 50. So that's how much you're off by.
Right.
So let's flip these so that it's secret minus guess.
Okay. Secret. So what do I type then? Sorry.
So flip it. Flip the numbers. Do the subtraction the other way. Do 300 minus 50 instead of 50 minus 300, like in our example, but use the words instead of those values. I shouldn't use 50 here because that confused you. Secret minus guess, basically, instead of the other way around.
Do I type it in like immediately after secret number?
No.
Oh.
Hang on.
Oh, up here.
Get rid of this.
There we go.
Type in your new if. Secret number minus guess.
If secret number.
Yep, just like that. There you
minus guess.
Okay, so the thought being that if so this basically tells us, because remember in subtraction, if the larger number is on the left, right, and we subtract a smaller number from it, we get a positive integer. If we take a smaller number and subtract, we're getting a negative, right? So because we would be negative, we're definitely not greater than 50.
Right.
Okay, let's change this text. So this needs to be much higher now. So go ahead and... So secret number minus guess was greater than 50. That means that secret number is more than 50 larger than guess.
Right. Gotcha.
So we need to guess much higher. So put in the word higher there. Okay. So now here's the problem. Down here, if we run this, let's think about this logic. So we check this, we say, okay, it was much lower. So we set the string to much lower. We set message to much lower. Then we come down here, we say, nope, we don't go in here because it's lower, right? So we didn't go in this one. We check this one. We don't go in because it's lower. And then we check this one, we say, oh, yeah, guess is larger than secret number. We come in here and we override the value of message to be lower, thus losing our much higher and much lower. And someone just mentioned that we were missing our semicolons.
Yep,
I just added them
SMB,
back
I
in.
noticed that as well. Yep.
Good job, SMB.
All right.
So this brings up another question. So how do we make it so that only one of these runs? We only want one of these 4 situations to happen. So let's do this. So I'm going to remove these comments. They helped us make sure that we wrote that correctly. I want you on line 23 to tab over and write a new word. You're a parent now, Bubs. So
Indeed.
you can do this or blank.
So a new message, right?
So let's write in the word else.
Else. Interesting.
Do this or else.
Do this or and would it be the second one, right?
Let's hang on, let me do this. We'll do this just for clarity of the text. So if guess, so basically we're saying if guess is more than 50 points higher than our secret number, then do that. Else, if this case, then do that.
Ooh.
Right?
Whoa.
Else, if that, do that one. And you want to get our last one at line 31? Make
Else
that
if.
also an else if. So what that means is, if this one happens, we don't continue on. If this one happens, we don't continue on. If this one happens, we don't continue on. So we're going to run only one of these blocks.
Got it.
So there are 4 blocks, only one of them is going to happen, and it's going to check them in order. So we get to line 19 and we try to run it. If it happens, we'll finish this and we'll continue down here at line 34. Right, which there's nothing after line 34, right? We go back up to the top of the loop. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Does for me.
Makes it good. All right.
Oh my.
So that's the idea.
Got it.
So that's how an else if works. Technically, we can also do this down here. We can put in an else. Whoops. I can't type today either, guys. Okay, so we have else down here. Do nothing. They're equal. Right? So I could put this in here, and as we said, it doesn't run comments, so there's nothing special to do there. But since we're not doing anything in the else, we don't need it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Says nothing, writes thing. Sounds. I might have messed that up, Weedlaw. That's fine. Okay. Bubs, try running it. Let's let the audience do the guessing again. Viewers,
all right.
Are you ready for the guessing game? Guessing a number between 1 and 500.
Here we go. Oh, we didn't save it. We didn't save it. Gotta save. Oh yeah, there it goes. Okay, please guess the correct number.
I think we got it.
300. Well, that's a good one to start with. Much lower. So it's going to be less than 255, I think, right? Yep, much lower. Much lower than 255.
Okay, so that means it's got to be below 205, we know. It's 205 or lower. Yeah. Any other guesses from the audience? 128. 124 was the first one, then 128.
124 is much lower.
Ooh, still much lower. Oh, man.
Yep.
Crimson Green wants 1.
Crimson Green wants 1. I want it 2. It's higher. But it's not even much higher.
But not much higher, which means we know it's 50 or lower.
Yep. So now we know it's between 1 and 50. Or, well, 2 and 50. 16 is the next one.
Yep.
It's lower than 16, so 34 and 46 are out.
Yep.
Pick number 3, my lord. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to type it in. 3. It's higher than 3.
Higher than 3.
Lower than 16.
We got to guess for 12 from Nikki Supra.
12. Higher than 12,
higher
so
than
8
12.
and 8
okay,
are out.
So we're not getting those 8s.
I'm not getting those 8s.
Yep.
So it's essentially 12 and 15, or 13 and 14, or 13, 14, or 15.
Yeah. We have the guess in the order
15.
is 15. Oh, 15.
That's
hey,
S&B got it.
Yeah, there you go.
I love my little Zelda sound for this game. That's great.
Well done. Yay. Good job, S&B. Way to be the first one to guess the number when there were only 3.
I know, yeah. Hey, it's we narrowed it down, didn't we? We narrowed it down.
Yeah. No, but doesn't that work nicely? Even at 500, you're able to get it pretty well because the much lower makes it a lot easier.
The much lower makes it a lot easier. Otherwise, we would have just been here, 124, 126. Keep going higher. That was good.
Yeah. So all the people with computer science degrees in the background know that this can done intelligently. It can never take more than log n number of tries to figure it out, where n is the 500.
Right.
So it actually is not all that many guesses. You can actually solve it faster than you realize. The trick. Oh, whoops. Right, I can't. Nope, no thanks. I tried to delete the number 9 that you have typed into the terminal window there, and then it was like, oh, do you want to request access? So by the way, Bubs, just so you know, the way that this works, we are sharing that terminal. I can actually see the terminal that's on his computer, and that's like a real terminal. So he could like run real code to delete files on his computer and other crazy stuff like that. Which is why he's not going to give me write access to his controller, to his terminal. Not that I would do anything, but it's more the idea that, yeah, you know, let's just open, like, yeah, no, don't open up your terminal to the internet. That's a bad idea. Mildly dangerous.
I did get a new follow a little while ago, so thank you, iHeart Coding, as well. I appreciate it,
hey,
man.
I heard coding. Nice.
Yay.
Okay, so cool. So that actually works out pretty well. So what have we covered? We are using while loops. We're using variables. We're generating random numbers. And actually, you know what? Let's print it out. Let's make this instructions a little bit better for us. So we printed out, please guess the correct number. There's something else that we need to learn. We're going to make this a little bit nicer, Bubs.
Okay.
People don't know what numbers they're guessing between. We need to tell them.
That's a good point.
So let's tell them.
Please guess the number between 1 and 500.
Let me do this. Hang on. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make you 2 variables that I'm gonna call lower bound.
Oh, new word.
And I'm gonna call int. I can't type, guys.
Well, you've been coding with me for an hour and 50 minutes, so I don't blame you.
No, my keyboard's being stupid. There must be some kind of interference.
Right.
It's a wireless keyboard, so it happens sometimes. Okay, so change out these. So lower bound and upper bound we just made. Two new variables, and they are integers.
Upper has 2 R's in it, is that correct? Was it?
That is not supposed to have that.
Okay.
Okay, so let's use these instead of these numbers I hard-coded in here. So upper bound, lower bound. So lower bound is what we use here. So we want a randomly generated number. So I'll type this since you don't seem to want to. Lower bound.
Oh, sorry. Gee,
and then if you want to type in, change out that second one, that 501, and make it still 501 by using upper bound.
Whoa.
Did you start typing in your password there? I know we've been...
No.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then say +1.
Oh, so do we get rid of that 501?
Yeah, get rid of the 501.
Okay.
Okay, now the reason for the +1 is because we want your lower and upper bound. These are, so just going to use regular English words here. This is inclusive. So 1 and 100 are inclusive. The next method, as I told you, is exclusive. Well, it's inclusive on the first bound and exclusive on the second bound. So by putting 501, that means our highest number it can generate is 500.
Right.
Why don't you just tell me what number I'm supposed to guess? Please. So let's change this. So let's say, please guess so you were saying, why don't you type in a number between, like, why don't you fix this so it's, whoops, sorry, I just deleted that off me. So please guess a number between what and what. So like say between 1 and 500 or something?
Yep.
Okay. Now remember how a long time ago I had to put a $sign before the quotes. Go do that on this one again. So put the $sign over there. I was having you do that because I want you to do that because it gives you some extra power.
Okay.
Okay, so you see how you have the number 1 inside of your string? Wouldn't it be cool if instead of using the number 1, we could put in the variable lower bound?
Would be.
Would be. So why don't you delete that number 1, and instead of it, put in inside of curly braces the word lower bound. So delete it. Nope. Yeah, copy.
I was gonna copy it.
From there. Yep. Go for it.
And then please guess.
Nope. Just delete the number 1. Just delete
the number one. And then inside the curly braces. Oops.
Curly.
That's
not square.
That's not curly. Wait,
Bubs.
I'm coming, man. I'm coming. There you go.
All right. Put in the D for. Yep. There you go. Does that look better on your screen? No. Yeah, it looks better on your screen.
Because it does have the color differentials.
Oh, okay, it went away. Okay, sorry.
Yep.
Then go ahead and do the same thing for upper bound.
Okay.
It doesn't look as nice on mine, and I'll let all of you know why. I'm not really on my end. This looks like I'm running Visual Studio Code and doing all this work, but I'm not really. This is actually all running on Bubs' computer. None of this is really running on mine. It's all an illusion. It is. It actually. The funny thing is, it actually is. There, like the way it works is there is we actually currently have a connection between your computer and mine, like a direct connection, and your computer is actually just sending me what the changes are in this program as they happen, and it's updating my display. I'm not really running the code. It just looks like it is on my end. That's how we're able to get this editing approach.
Money is power, even in coding. I just read that and I was like, "Whoa, mind blown!" I won't forget what that does now.
So go ahead and yeah, exactly. Go ahead and run the
save it and run.
Yep, save it, run it, and it should tell us what our upper and lower bounds are now when we run this.
Please guess the number between 1 and 500.
There you go.
And go chat one more time.
Guess 250.
Ooh. Guess 250. There we go. Lower. Wow.
But not much lower.
But not much lower. So within 50.
Yeah.
So it's between 200 and 249, roughly.
Yeah, exactly.
Should be. So 222
Super says
from
222.
Nikki. Lower than 222.
Lower. Okay. We need to guess lower, everybody. Where's that next guess?
It's coming in. I feel it. 212. 212 is the next one. Higher than 212. Is it higher than 215? It was 215.
Hey, it was 215. Nice.
Dun-dun-dun-dun. Very good.
Well done, Nikki Supra. We got it. That was good.
Very good. That was a good one. Right out of 250, it was within 50 of that.
So the cool thing there, I'm going to explain to you what we just did and how that actually works. So this string thing here, I'm going to tell you a fancy word. You won't remember it, and that's fine. The word is called interpolation. So that is a regular English word that we programmers have adopted. Interpolation roughly means like to insert into. And so the idea is you're inserting these variables into the string. And this kind of feature exists in a lot of programming languages. There is some way of doing this kind of thing where you say, hey, I've got this string, but I want you to put like some actual variable values directly inside of it. And so when it creates this string, it takes whatever the lower bound and upper bound values were at the time and makes this string with them. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Someone asked how to spell the word interpolations. I just tossed that in chat. It is a weird word. That's why I point out, like, so like all the different tech, like we take. What's up?
It'd be like the band. Sorry, it'd be like the band Interpol plus Asian. That's it. Interpolation.
Interpol. Yeah, it'd be like Interpol, like you know, the international police with Asian on the end. Like the band Interpol, Bubs.
What do you mean? The band's great. I didn't make a terrible reference.
No. No criticism on the band. I'm just saying it's just funny that you're like your brain goes to the band and not like Interpol.
No, man, like international police. No, of course not.
And yes, Fuel Snibble is correct. It is an overloaded word.
Mm-hmm. Too funny.
Rubik's only speaks England, but not much American. Yeah, I speak American.
I speak American.
Yeah, I speak American. But I do actually speak American English. To be fair, I ride in elevators, not in lifts, for example.
Ah, that's a good point.
Yes. Okay. And let's see. So we got that working. So we pulled that out. So those are now variables. So that's actually pretty nice. Bubs, what do we do with these numbers now? I think you know what. Let's do this.
I was gonna say we could change it to make it more difficult.
No, we're gonna do this.
Console right.
So I'm gonna console right line a thing here, and what I want you to do is make it so that this value is now set by the user. Please choose upper bound for the guess.
Ooh.
For the we'll say for the secret number.
For the secret number, yep.
Please choose an upper bound for the secret number. Okay, now make it so that that upper bound is actually able to be filled in by the user. Tag, you're it.
Okay, so wait, because I noticed you put upper bound in that one under lower bound. Was that intentional? Like, please choose an upper bound, even though we're under enter lower bound.
Yeah, we already created lower bound. We're gonna go from 1 to something, right?
Right.
So we're just choosing how high they want to go.
Okay. So that's why it was done that way.
It doesn't really matter. I could have written it anywhere.
Yeah. No, it's just curious if that was the thing. Okay, so what's the next step? Sorry, what did you want me to do next?
Oh, make it so that upper bound is set by a user typing it in. So when you run the program, you need to set that value. So it's not going to be 500 anymore. It's going to be whatever you typed in when you ran the program.
Wow. So how do I change that to indicate that?
Well, Bubs, how do we guess? When we guess, I'll give you a hint. Look at line 20.
Line 7. Damn it, I was going to go 17. Guess, I see it. So...
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So
can I just essentially Can I essentially just copy that line then?
Yes, you can. I mean, aside, I wouldn't take the word guess, but sure.
Right. Interval parse.
So, integer parse. Yep.
Sorry, integer.
Yep. So parse the integer from console.readline. So readline is how we ask the user for info, and int.parse is how we change it into a number.
Very cool.
So there we go. So go ahead and save this and try to run it.
Oops. Okay, save.
I'm going to increase the size of my terminal so everybody on my side can see it as well. So you .NET run, and please choose an upper bound. So pick our upper bound there, Bubs.
So 1 and...
Go with 1,000. 1,000 sounds good.
That's exactly what I was going to do. 1,000. Please guess a number between 1 and 1K. Go.
There you go.
Oh, 777 right at the start. I like that.
Watch, the number's going to be like 4.
I know. No, it's much higher.
Whoa.
Okay, good. So we narrowed
number.
it down. It's 778. No, yeah, it would be between 7.
Yeah, it's at least 50 higher.
820 something, and yeah. Cool.
Yep. So where's the next guess, chat? You guys know the game. Guess the number.
Guess the number.
What do you want?
I'm gonna go with that one. God answers. Oh no, that's not a number. 500. It's gonna be much higher than
much
777.
Yeah. So Nakey Super says 888.
888.
We'll try again.
Higher than 888.
But not more than 50.
But not
more than 50 higher. So that means it's got to be around 900. So 910 is the guess I see in the chat there.
910's a good guess. Higher than 910. 954 I think is too high. 954 is going to
be too high, and so 911. Thanks, Rubik's.
Oh no, higher than 911.
915. Yeah, that's a good one.
We're getting close. Ooh, lower than 915.
We're really close.
It's only 3 numbers. This
is only 9, 12, 13, or 14. Hey, okay, there's a guess.
913. It's higher, so I'm just going to type it in myself. Yeah. It's not. Nobody wins.
Bubs, how did you figure out what it was without the help of the chat?
I'm too smart, man. 2 hours of coding, I can solve anything
Oh
at this
man,
point.
that was impressive.
So 2 hours with the DevChatter, I can solve anything. 9:14. GG guys. That was good. That was a win for all. That's what that
Yeah,
was.
no, that was good. And I'm glad it chose a big number because we set the limit at 1,000. It would have sucked if it was like 4.
Yeah, I know.
You'd be like, why'd we choose such a big range?
I think it's pi. Well,
I would accept 314 as being close enough to pi there,
314.
Crimson.
Yep.
Okay, so that actually worked pretty well. I like it. Now connected to chat so we can all guess. I was not planning on having him connect to chat in this, but yes, it's not that hard to connect to chat.
Yeah, let's do it. See, that's what I was going to say. I was like, how can we integrate? That was actually one of the questions I had earlier. I was like, is it possible if it's not too difficult and my brain can handle it, can we integrate Twitch chat to actually play themselves?
We could if I just set you up with a library that did it. So instead of doing the console write line and the console read line, if I gave you like inputs that were Twitch chat stuff.
Right.
So we could technically do it. It's a couple of there's one aspect of how we would have to do it that I think would be a little confusing for now.
Right.
Someone asked, is there any real difference between convert.toInt and int.parse? Technically, yes. They are different, but not significantly. So
Poll Jets versus Panthers. I think they go with Panthers.
Welcome everybody. Glad to see a bunch of people there in chat.
Yep.
Don't worry, we are going to do more of these episodes in the future also, I should mention. So we're going to do more Learn to Code episodes here on DevChatter that may or may not feature Bubs depending on whether or not we can schedule him in each time. So
I am interested though. This is fun. This is fun.
It is hard to get two people's schedules together, especially ones that stream at the same time in the middle of the day. Okay. Hence why we actually did this one is because Thursdays, as people in my chat know, is the early day for my stream. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So we generate a random number, we set a lower bound, we set an upper bound. What else can we do with this? Got to be a couple more interesting things we can do. Hey, Will, welcome. Bubs.
Yes.
Will, I stream on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Saturdays in addition to Thursdays. But I don't usually stream on Wednesdays. Yeah, Rubik's. No, so we stream at about the same time, but we're actually in the same time zone, despite the fact that it would take me like 17, 18 hours of driving to get to where Bubs is? Something like that?
Would take quite some time.
Yeah, it takes forever. Okay, so we are gonna make this game run itself. So Bubs, let's do this.
Ooh.
I am going to... Let's see, I want to save your code somehow so you don't lose it. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to copy the code over to here. There we go. So now I have a copy of this code so we won't lose it.
Cool.
So now we can edit and change what we want here and get rid of stuff. So right now we have the people in chat guessing. And by that, and then you typing it in.
Right.
Yeah, well, this is a Learn to Code episode. Okay, so we said, please guess a number between this and this, and we want to do... We are not going to give it the much lower and much higher guesses. The computer doesn't need that.
That's true.
Right? Because it doesn't care about time as much. It can keep guessing until it gets it. We're also not going to have it use this either. It needs to set the guess equal to make new guess. Guess, whoops, guess equals, right? So make a new guess, and then we want to record whether it needs to go higher or lower, but we don't need to send a message about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to send a message. So let's think about this. If you were going to you've heard the term algorithm when talking about programming, right, Bubs?
Right.
Okay. So an algorithm just means some kind of a process. It's like a sequence of steps to complete something. So in this case, let's think about our algorithm for how we can guess this. So let's just chat for a second. So one of the things people don't realize, they think that programming has something to do with typing. When it's like, yeah, we type, but really it's all about thinking, discussion, problem solving, coming up with a way to do something. So what I want you to do is let's just type in, if you were trying to solve this, so what's going on in the Bub's brain when you try to solve this problem? So how do you go about this? So I put a comment in here so that we can type. Like, what do you do? So let's say we're guessing between 1 and 1,000, right? What's your first step? Where's a good first guess?
50%, right? Like 500 down
the
the middle.
Right in the middle. So so you would put in here as your first step, guess the middle of possible numbers.
Right.
Right? That's what you just said was your first step. Okay. So we're gonna write this as comments. So that's actually what this is gonna be. So we'll say this. We don't need that. We don't need the message. Well, we can print it out. Anyway. Hang on. Just trying to mess with our code here. Okay, so guess the middle possible number. All right, so what do we want to do then? If the guess, so if we know that we have to guess higher, what would you then do?
If I knew I had to guess higher?
Yep. You know you need to guess higher.
Right? Yep.
Sure, then the middle possible number.
Right. I'd cut that in half, let's say.
So you would say set your new point to your previous guess.
Right.
So you would set your lower bound, bound to previous guess.
Makes sense, yeah.
And then guess the middle of possible numbers, right?
Yep.
Okay. So if you had guessed too high with 500, what would you do?
I'd go lower, my upper bound.
So you'd set your upper bound, very nice, to previous guess.
I threw in a dev word there.
Yeah, that was good. So one of the things I will actually mention is when you start programming, you will expand your vocabulary a lot because you're trying to come up with like new words that correctly define what these things are, right? And yes, so Will actually has just pointed out the actual term for what it is we're doing here, and you have just defined binary search.
Binary searches, yeah.
Yes. So
very cool.
Okay, so let's do this. So let's put in these values. So why don't you do the sets first? Because that I think makes sense. I think you get how to do this.
I think so. So
so set your lower bound.
On this, right? So I guess I would do
no, inside of the if statement. Make sure you're inside there. Anywhere in between those curly braces of that if. You can leave the comment in there if you want.
Right. So could I just make it essentially a new line?
Correct. Yep. You can make a new line right in there. As long as you're inside of the curly braces, you're part of that if block. And it will only happen if the if block was true. So that would mean guess was less than your secret number.
Right. So if I was setting a lower bound here, I know I'd have to do something with parsing.
Nope.
Right?
Nope. We have a variable that has a very interesting name that I know about, Bubs. What's that variable's name?
A random generator?
No, another one. Look a line lower.
Look a line lower. The lower bound thing?
Lower bound.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna do.
Let's do this actually. Before I have you do this, yeah. So yeah, you can type that in. Yeah. Go ahead and finish what you're doing. Finish your thought.
Sorry. And then I was thinking.
Lower bound.
Greater than...
Nope. Assignment.
Nope.
So we're saying set lower bound to previous guess, right?
Right.
This is our new lower bound. Here. Hang on. Before you do this, Bubs. So we put in the algorithm, right? Let's do this. Let's make your guess first.
Okay.
This will make more sense if we guess first. So assign the guess value. So how do we assign guess? We did. So look at line 14. What do we do?
14. Yeah, we type in guess equals.
Okay, so guess equals. So do that.
Right. Okay.
So type that in. Now we want to pay. So pretend this is our first guess, right? So you were saying 500, right?
500.
How do we get the number 500, but from variables that we have available?
I don't know.
What variables do we have available that have the numbers, say, like 1 through 1,000? And I'll do this so that it is 1 through 1,000.
Nope.
Right? So now our numbers are 1 through 1,000.
Okay.
If this will help you think better. So we want to get the number 500.
Uh-huh.
So how do we get to that?
Just guess. I'm not sure.
So you said you wanted the middle number, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Is there a small amount of math to get the number to take the number 1,000 and the number 1 and get, roughly speaking, 500?
We'd have to subtract half of it to get to 500.
So let's do this.
That's what I was thinking. Mm-hmm.
So why don't we do this? Let's say 1,000 minus 1 gets us what number?
999.
Okay. Divide that by 2.
Is this...
Roughly speaking, about 500, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
About 500-ish. Mm-hmm. Okay. Do we have any variables that currently contain the numbers 1,000 or 1?
Say that again, sorry.
Do we have any variables that contain any of those numbers that you see listed on this line?
Yeah.
What variables are they?
I don't know. My brain is hurting right now.
Sorry, Bubs.
Okay.
So, we've declared a few variables, right?
Uh-huh.
Go through the variables we've declared. Just read them.
Like, I'm sorry, I'm like so
start on line 9.
Okay. Start on line 9. So you just want me to read that? Random generator, new random.
So random generator is a variable. Line 10, what's our variable?
Lower bound.
What's our variable on line 12?
Upper bound.
Okay, what's the variable on line 13?
A secret number.
And 14?
Guess.
Okay, so those are our variables.
Got it.
On line 22, we're assigning guess equal to to a new value, right? We want to give a new value to the variable guess. The other variables we have available, these are numbers we can work with. So remember back to your math class, if you had like x equals 7, right? You could have the number 7 in your equation, or you could have the letter x, and the equation is still the same, right?
Correct. Okay.
So let's change out these literal numbers for the variables that they represent. So the 1,000 is upper bound, right?
Correct.
So let's go ahead and put in upper bound. So get rid of the number 1,000 and no, like literally just replace the number 1,000 in that line. So we're going to do the math equation here, but we're going to put in variables instead of numbers. And now instead of 1, put in the lower bound.
Gotcha.
Right? So we're going to say, essentially, what's the difference between these two numbers? So big number minus small number is going to get us some number, and then we're going to divide by 2. So dividing by 2 is going to get us the midpoint, right? Mm-hmm. So if we're going between like 10 and 20, then that midpoint is going to be like the number 5, right?
Right.
Okay, so let's write this out, and we'll see how this can go wrong, and we'll get the last piece we need to make it right. So let's write in a comment. Let's say that we're guessing, and we know that our number is between 10 and 20. So that makes our upper bound 20 minus our lower bound of 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
Divided by 2. Now, if we're guessing between a number between 10 and 20, Bubs, what's the guess that you want to make intelligently?
15.
15, right? Because you're going to get the most information out of your upper or lower if you guess 15. So we want this to somehow equal 15. So here's the thing where I'm gonna make you do math. So this left side of the equation does not equal 15 yet. What do we have to do to make the left side of this equation equal 15? So we have 20 minus 10 gets us back the number 10, right?
Right, so to add...
divided by 2 is 5.
Is 5, right.
So we're short by how much?
15? We're going to get 10 in there.
Yeah, we need 10 more. So, which means we need our lower bound added again. So it's 10 plus this divided by 2.
Right.
So that is lower bound plus that divided by 2. Right? Makes sense.
And yeah, it's making more sense as this is happening.
Yeah. That's why I said, like, it's a small amount of math. Now, within programming, like some of the things we do sometimes need basic amounts of math. Most of what we do is only simple arithmetic and algebra and things like that when it's something like this. But even this is not something that's all that common within programming. We don't, like, these aren't the types of problems we're usually solving. Most of our math is more dealing with money. So when we're dealing with math, it's usually important stuff like money. Okay, so right now, we're always going to guess the number, roughly speaking, about 500, right?
Right.
So this is not going to be quite perfect. This is going to run into some problems. But what I want to do is I want to have us say console write line. And I want you to do something in there. So make another one of our string interpolated strings. So remember, that's a money string. $, double quote.
Quotes.
And why don't you say, like, guessing and the guess that we're going to do. So we want to do this because this is going to help us understand the program.
Right.
And so then, so instead of 500, put inside curly braces the guess, right?
Yep.
Perfect. That looks great. So now it's going to say what number it's guessing. So what I want to do is this. I'm going to do one other thing here for us. That's going to be weird, but trust me. And why is it not wanting to do that? Hang on, I have to do something. Threading. There we go. What, 500? Don't, just ignore this.
Ignoring it. Not looking at that line. Got it.
Yeah, don't worry about what that line does. It doesn't do anything. That line's not even there.
Just ignore this, Bubs. Got it.
I don't think math when doing... yeah, so... Yeah, exactly. And I agree, Will. I was not intending to do math here, but I was like, oh, why not?
No, yeah, it implemented it. I got it.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to... Like, I wanted to help with the math there. But, like, the idea being that... and I was pointing out also, math is not really our thing in programming, so... don't worry about that. If you're not great at math, most programming is not math. Okay. Yeah. So guess...
I will say this, though. In 2 hours and 20 minutes of having coded ever in my life, right? Like, Brendan, you've done a phenomenal job of, like, showing me so many things. Like, even if it just came down to, like, what do certain things mean inside Visual Studio alone, like, is leaps and bounds way more than I would have ever gotten just opening up the program by myself.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the point. So, all right. So we've got this. these comments down here need us to do something. So we've implemented one part of your algorithm. This is guess the midpoint of what's available. We now need to set our bounds. So we're saying, at this point, we're saying, hey, you didn't guess high enough, so you need to guess higher.
Right.
So that means that we need to set the low point from where we guess from higher, so that we'll guess higher.
Right.
Right? Okay, so go ahead and set that value.
So I can type it anywhere in the...
Yep,
right?
Anywhere inside of that if code block there.
So
Don't set the guess. Set our lower bound. Remember, we're using those so see how we're using these variables in the creation of our guess? So if we change the value of this, we'll change the calculation the next time through.
Got it.
So set it equal to our guess. Yep, like that. And then a semicolon to end the line. And actually, I would say guess plus 1. Right? Because we don't, like, our lower bound was inclusive, I think? I think? I don't know. We might be making it impossible. So let's do this just so I don't screw it up. We'll leave off that plus 1, and we'll be slightly less efficient. But hopefully then we won't, we won't have it totally fail. Okay, so let's do the same thing, but now in the lower part. So this is, remember, this is the algorithm you said. So we talked this through. If we needed to guess lower, you were saying set the upper bound from where you'd take your midpoint to the previous guess. So do that on line, like around line 36, wherever. Yeah, there you go. Upper bound equals guess. So remember, we're using upper and lower bound. We're going to choose the midpoint between them. So
it's making more sense now, as I see it.
Yep. That's why I wanted to start with the get. At first, when we were doing this, I was like, I'm just going to have him assign this. I'm not sure he's going to get it. Like, let's do this
but
one
it makes
first.
100% more sense now. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's go down here. Let's go ahead and try running the code. I don't know if it works yet.
We'll find out.
So it says what number it's guessing, and then says higher, lower, and then it waits. So that thread.sleep, the thing I said to ignore, what that does is it tells it to wait a half a second. So we're not just going to have it like spam the screen. It's going to, think for a half a second. Think. It's not really thinking.
It's sleeping.
Yeah, basically. It sleeps for half a second. So go ahead and run it.
Okay. If I save this, is it going to overwrite our previous code? But you mentioned that you've already saved the copy, right?
Yeah, you can save this. I saved a copy.
Cool.
I tossed it in another program so that we wouldn't lose your previous code.
Got it. All right, so there goes. Oh man, look at it go!
Boom!
It did it.
Got
it. Did it.
Look at that. It was 775.
That was
and
awesome.
you see how it narrowed in? Like,
yeah.
See? Isn't that neat?
That is neat. Damn it, that's so cool.
Yeah. See, it's freaking awesome.
It's really cool. Yeah.
That's why we had to do this part. Like, I'm like, yeah.
Usually computers get me to think. Now I'm telling you what to think. I love it.
Exactly. and you gotta love how it went through. So look at what it did.
I know it did, and I love its problem solve. I love seeing it like actual problem solve right in front of me, which is why it was cool.
Each time, and it's like, yep, there you go.
That's very cool.
So we could do this too, to make it a little clearer. So we could say between lower bound and upper bound, right? Guessing that between this and this, and then you can see where it came up with the numbers too. So try I think it's saved. Try running it again because it's on your end. And I isn't that half-second pause actually pretty nice?
Yeah, it's just you can from like a user perspective, right? Exactly.
Yeah, you get to watch what it's doing. It's really neat.
Right. There it goes. So without that half-second pause, it would just be like guessing, like instantaneously, right?
The whole thing would just flash up all at once.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't see them come in, Bubs. It would just all be there, and it'd be like, that's what it did, not that's what it's doing.
So it's literally asking the computer to slow down so I can understand what you're doing.
Yeah, basically, so we can watch.
Right. Cool.
No, but isn't that nice? See how it's like even choosing the upper and lower bounds, and it's like, oh, yep, choose between this and this, and notice that each time it's like, oh, it updated the previous lower, and you can see the values changing. It's really cool.
Yeah, time takes on a new meaning now, Bubs. It does, Will Bennett. It does.
Because actually, we could do this to slow it down, and so those are milliseconds that we have it sleeping. So if we want to slow it down even further, so you can actually watch while it goes, let's make it 2 seconds actually. So it's going to guess slowly this time, but we should be able to actually watch it go.
Let's see.
So guessing a number between 1,000. So it guessed 500. Then it's going to wait, and then it's going to guess 750. So the first two guesses are either going to be 500 and 750 or 500 and 250, basically every time.
Right. To your point, Bennett, most non-programmers don't know about milliseconds. The only reason why I would know that is because I'm a gamer, right? Like, so when everything is discussed in terms of latency with internet connections. So that's why I didn't question the fact that, oh, he's typing 500. Like, I didn't ask him, like, oh, why 500? I was thinking in my head, I was like, let me use my brain a little bit before I ask another dumb question. I would assume that's milliseconds, since he said half a second, right? And then 1,000, 2,000. That's exactly the terms I was thinking of it in. Very cool.
And yeah, you are very right, Will. Lots of non-programmers don't know these things. It's one of those. It's one of the other ones. Whenever I correct people on misusing
so it did it.
time
746 between 742 and 750.
Yep.
Good deal.
Yeah, I like it. It's good.
Oh wait. Hold on. I think something happened here.
Bubs, can you not hear me? Bubs, can you hear me?
I think something happened with the audio.
Bubs, can you hear me? I can still hear Bubs.
I cannot. Let's see if we can get the Let me hold on.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me
just
now?
Like randomly stopped. Hold on one sec.
Putting in gamer terms, the computer knows your private. Yes, that is also true, Ed.
There we go.
When
I can hear you again.
When you get a loot box, it always knows what you got long before it tells you what you got.
Oh, there, I can hear you again. That was weird. Cool. Discord just kind of like cut you out for no reason.
Oh, well, that's fun. Thanks, Discord.
I know. Yeah, it just said something like, your mic has been transmitting for 30 seconds, Spotify playback pause, but I don't know why that would have anything to do with you.
I have no idea. But
yeah, so
hey,
I'm like, okay, thanks. Yeah.
So
but we're back.
I think that's pretty nice. The upper bounds. So let's try another experiment. So let's speed it back up so it doesn't take this amount of time.
Yes.
Right. So it's going to be half second, so you can watch it, but it doesn't really take a while. There's a great question from Nikki Super for you in chat, but I was going to tell you, raise the upper bound. Set it to like 100,000 or something. Something absurd that a human would never want to even try guessing. And you're going to laugh because set the upper bound, the starting one, to like 100,000.
Okay. So all the way up here, right? 100.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
There you go.
And as I do that, let me answer this question. So I'm curious to know if Bubs thinks this looks as complicated after 2 hours of DevChatter. He seems to be really getting the hang of coding. Well, I really appreciate that. Thank you. So I've seen like a coding interface before only because, so I'm a recruiter by trade, right? So I used to do IT recruiting. So when I would ask people for, I think is that correct? Is it a GitHub? No, it's not a GitHub or like
GitHub account.
Is it? Yeah. So I used to ask like web developers like for their GitHubs because my client would want to see their coding examples. So a lot of times people would be like, a lot of people would be like, well, I don't have a GitHub or I don't save any of my code. And in my head that was like an immediate red flag. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay. So the only reason why any of this even looked remotely familiar is because I would open up their GitHubs and I'd be like, wow, look at all these lines of things. So I assume this guy's a good coder. Like, you know what I mean? Which would, like for me after that, just the fact that he had a GitHub account was enough because then if I were to give it my client, I would hope to God that it wasn't just jibber jabber. So as a matter of fact, this may help me in my trade in the future for recruiting IT professionals because who knows, maybe I can read some of his jargon and determine for myself like, okay, yes, this guy knows what he's doing just because I can kind of tell that he's writing it correctly. So as a matter of fact, this is indeed helping me. But after 2 hours of DevChatter, to directly answer your question, it looks definitely less complicated. I don't know if it's because like you mentioned, what this Visual Studio code does, and if I'm using my like kindergarten brain, the fact that everything's color coded to me makes so much sense, and it helps a lot. So
the
but
color
no,
coding is 100% necessary. It helps all of us. We like. I mean, I guess it's not necessary. Plenty of us have coded without it, but it's one of those like it helps so much.
Yeah. I mean, this is great. Like, I didn't even know when I would read certain codes. To your point, I think it's I'll just call him Ed. To your point, Ed, like I didn't even know that putting 2 forward slashes is just like typing notes so that coders can kind of share information. Maybe like, what does this do? You know what I mean? Kind of defining
the syntax in other languages isn't the same. Isn't always the same. So like in some languages, it might be like this. And then like the comment is in here, right? So like, but there's always something that will make it like not be run. So you can spot those all the time. So in some languages, it's like this, and then like this is the comment, right? And so there's a lot of different ways that they can be written, but you do know that these exist. And so the idea is, even if you don't know the syntax for all languages, you can see it for a lot of them. So yeah, Wheatlaw's mentioning double dashes is one. There's a lot of it.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because of what Crimson Green said. He's like, just ignore this.
Yeah. He's
But you know what's great? You know what's great? It's a new line of code that I never knew before. Even though you said just ignore this, just from you running it, I figured that, you know, like, okay, this is telling the program to pause a second so we can read it.
Exactly. Yep, that's all it's doing.
Before you run your stuff.
I'm like, don't worry about this. This is not part of it. Like, this isn't real. Because, like, if you were really writing a program that did this, you wouldn't even have this line in here. That's why I'm like, just ignore this.
Absolutely not. Exactly.
Okay. So, Bubs, go ahead and run it. Run it. We're going to 100,000. This bot's smart. This thing's gonna solve all the world's problems right here because it can pick random numbers. So as we watch that go, look at that. It's narrowing in. It's gonna get.
So we just created a program that'll help you. No, I'm not even gonna say it. That was to say it's gonna help you when you like hack into, say, I don't know, a slot machine. You'll probably get it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But that was pretty quick how it problem solved out of 100K to get the number 73,970. Yep. It's picking the next country for war games. First of all, that's an amazing movie. I love that movie.
And luckily, there are not 100,000 countries, so we're pretty safe there, Nakey Supra. Country number 73,970 has not been founded yet. Right. So we'll have to wait for that.
Can we make that program for war games where it was trying to solve all the possible possible scenarios where it can win in tic-tac-toe and it doesn't find any? Was that what it was? I think that was the purpose of war games anyway.
So the cool thing about this, Bubs, is that Will just mentioned over in the DevChatter chat the power of binary search, and that's actually what this is called. So binary search is where you do that split in half thing. That was actually the algorithm that you described when you were like, yeah, I'd pick the midpoint, which is basically what you did, and that's what we coded here was always choose the midpoint. And the neat thing about it is...
so much smarter than I thought I was.
Yeah, well, what I was going to say, the neat part about it is that you can make the number, like our upper bound, we went to 100,000, and it still finishes almost no time. Bubs, don't die. Don't die.
I'm not going to, man.
Yeah.
Can we make that program? Nope. Yeah, I heard him interrupt me, and I just went on anyway. I'm like, no, man, hear me out.
We're not making any programs featured in movies that are at all like that. We're also not going to make Skynet, in case you were wondering.
I was.
Yeah. No.
Not at this moment I wasn't, but I definitely thought about it for sure.
Zoom and enhance. Yeah, you don't have to be a programmer to know that zoom and enhance is a load of BS. You cannot zoom and enhance. All right, so let me change a couple of numbers here, Bubs. There we go. I changed a couple of numbers, and actually, let's make these more readable. So those underscores that I added in there, those are actually, if you see what I did on the upper bound, those are completely ignored, but they help us.
Okay.
So, like, you can see that
super
we made
hacker
10
in the
million,
making,
right?
Yes. Wow, 10 million.
So run the program, and then we can talk about whatever else
Oh, let me.
So is there anything else we want to do with this program while it figures out this number for us? And look at it pinpoint. Look at it go.
I know it's already. Damn,
done.
That's
Yep.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's like in 15 guesses.
I know, right? So
that's actually pretty good.
That is the hilarity. So that's like as Will was pointing out, like the power of binary search is like that cutting it in half trick. It really does not take many guesses because 10 million, like that's a huge range that you've got to guess from.
It is.
But it will never take very long to get it.
13, 14, 15.
So
it's like in 17 tries or something like that.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
It does not take many guesses. So,
unbelievable.
Yep. Random generate the guess. I thought about it, Nikki, but that would take a long time. We would not be doing 10 million for a randomly generated guess.
That's awesome. Hey, if you want to give any shout outs, go for it, man.
Oh, yeah. I have a list of people.
I bet. That's fantastic. That's what I thought about it.
We got a host, one viewer from Crimson Green. Crimson, thanks for watching from your stream. Farouk, Caranel, Ring008, Grimsicle, Chef MDT, Beer Chug, Juice DJ, and Crazy R. Thank you very much for those follows. Much appreciated. Yes, log 2 of n. That is correct, VH Dunpeel. That is how long it takes to... That is how many guesses it takes. Where n is equal to our number. In this case, it was 10 million, and right now it's 10,000. Let me go ahead and do this also. Click. Boom! In the chat.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for having me on here. This is great.
That is Bubs. He's the guy up in the corner. Although he looks more like an animated version of himself over on his side, and I'm more static over there.
I know. We got to do the thing where we get like each other's video feeds for next time because
there's some tricks we can do that because the problem is if we need to send our video feed each to our own stream, it's tricky to send it to the other person. We'll get that fixed up better. Yeah, see, there's Ed saying Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen.
That's usually what he calls me. So, he was saying something about like the 2D perspective. Occasionally, I look like Seth Rogen in there, which I still don't know if that's a compliment or not. Okay.
So if I went to a brand new boot camp for coding for C#, and I just dropped knowledge on people on my first day, like it was like for extreme noobs, would I look cool?
Probably not.
Damn it.
All right, so Bubs.
No, okay.
So we just showed how fast this can work. But can you change the lower limit too? So I don't know if it's complement or not. Wait, what? Oh, yeah. I don't know either, Ed. Yep. Well, who knows? Either way. So here's what we want to do. Someone made a suggestion. I think it was Nikki Supra. Yeah, it was Nikki Supra. Made a suggestion for something we should change about this code, Bubs. So let's do this.
Okay.
Let's do this. Here we go. So you did, your suggestion was choose the middle number every time, right?
Right.
Let's not do that. So let's comment. So I'm going to make a duplicate of this, comment it out. So that's our old way to do it, right? So that's saved. We have that code right there. Let's do something else. Put some code here. We're going to do it differently. Pick a random number. So go grab that random number generator, just like we did to generate the secret number.
Yep. So
use the random number generator down here.
Okay. So we could just type 26. It in, right?
Yep.
Random generator. Okay.
Yep. And then say .next to get the next random number that it generates.
Got it.
And then open parentheses and say lower bound. And upper bound plus
upper bound.
1.
Plus 1.
So remember that you have to do the plus 1 on that because the lower number was inclusive. Actually, no. Now that I think about it, plus 2. And make the lower bound plus 1. Oh, wait, no. Actually, just make them plus 1 in that. We might guess the same number twice. There's a safety we have to do. Make it just plus 1. Because if we haven't updated yet, then we need those.
Right.
Okay. Ooh,
Okay, so
make it guess the number that Bubs picks. Nakey Super wants us to go back to our old code. Okay, so now let's run this. So remember how many guesses it took last time for like 10,000? It was like 5, right?
Right.
Go ahead and save the program and let's run it.
Okay. So essentially what it's going to do is it's just going to randomly guess a number, and then from there, binary.
No, we're not binary searching it. We're just because we're not cutting in half each time. So it's just choosing a random number within that range.
Oh, every time. Okay.
Every time a new random number. So it wasn't bad, but you'll notice that was a lot more guesses than it was when we did the binary check, right?
Right, and this was just out of 10,000 instead of.
It was just out of 10,000, not out of 10 million. Right. So obviously, if we take this one up, right, and we go to 10 million, which you were saying was like 17 guesses or something like that, right? Save it and try running it again.
17.
Yeah. Oh. Watch what happens this time. So, like, we're going to let it guess randomly. So it's still always staying within its range. Now, we could randomly get one that ends really quickly, but this could take a lot longer because it's not going to be quite as efficient.
This is 117 already. Yep.
Yeah. So you'll see that, like, it was, because it's random, we could get it way faster, or it could be slower. We have less control of that. So we know with the other one how long it's going to take for it. Like, we know the maximum limit because we know how many times you can divide that number before you get down to 0. So, for example,
it's about 31 tries or so.
Did someone type that in somewhere?
No, I counted it.
23, which I illustrated with that for how you can figure out what it is. So I did on my stream. I just pulled up a calculator, took 10 million, just divided by 2, and just counted the number of times I had to divide by 2 before I get it. And so that's the idea. Slips, take care. Have a good one.
Thanks for hanging out, Slips. Appreciate it, buddy.
So that's the idea. So all you have to do is divide by the number, and the idea is if you always guess the midpoint and you continue dropping down your guess set until you get to the number, and then eventually there will only be one number left. Farouk, you made a number guesser in C#. That's awesome. I'm hoping there are other people following along in the chat. If you are interested in following along, or you didn't catch the beginning of this stream, I just posted the links to the stuff that you'd need to install to get started, and you can actually watch this video. It'll be recorded on both my channel and on Bubz's channel, so you can find it in the video section here on Twitch. So if you did want to watch this, the way that you can do that, it's this video section right here on my channel, or where's Bubz? Bubz, where are you? Over here. So this is actually getting streamed in 2 places at once, or over here on Bubz's channel in the videos section. So you can actually find that. It should already be there in both sections, and you can actually follow along from the start and see how we got to this point where the program is doing all the guessing instead of just us. That's not totally true there, Nagi Supra.
Lynda.com.
I hope it's not on Lynda, but you will be able to find it on YouTube later, because it'll be on my YouTube channel.
Yep.
I don't know, Bubz, do you have a YouTube channel for this?
I don't. Not at the moment. This will be all.
Yeah, I just export all my video from DevChatter on Twitch out to YouTube so that it's archived there for anyone that wants to see it. One thing I'm going to do with MrBubz's permission, I will probably put notes in the code, but I'm going to, if you're good with it, I'm going to toss this out on our GitHub in our Learn to Code section.
100%. Please do.
Sounds good. Yeah. Do you actually have a GitHub account?
I don't. Maybe this could be the first one I make, and I can start filing in some of the stuff I've done.
So I'm not planning on going through all the steps for setting up a GitHub account with you right this second, although I guess we could.
That's all right. I can do one real quick, if anything. At least sign up for one.
Yeah, so once you've got that, we can actually store code over on yours. Also added a hint method to output a hint to the user. Oh, nice, Farouk. Like other than like our suggestion of like being lower or higher, because we also had in our original code, which I saved over, where is it? Here. Yep, over here. We gave the hints of much higher and much lower if you were off by 50 or more. Being the idea that if you're off by 50 or more, you probably want to make a significant change, more significant change to your guess, even not doing halfway, because you'd know, hey, it's way off on this. So it basically limits the range for your guess by a little bit. Makes it a little faster for a human. Which one's yours? This one's yours. Had to find which. So I have two versions of VS Code running right now. One of them's on my computer so that I can show stuff on my end. Because as soon as I connect to you with VS Code, the version that I've got running is not a real one. It's like running through it, but as I said, I'm just seeing your code, not like that's your machine. Any changes we make are getting stored on a file on your computer, not mine. Let's see. You also added a hint method. So yes, like if guess is less than the number, return guess higher. Ah, yes, exactly, Farouk. Yep. Suggestions to help the user get to the number. So awesome. Love it. Bubs, what questions do you have? What things did you find interesting or difficult?
I think initially it was I kind of got stuck on the determining how we were going to get the program to guess from its initial point. I guess when we were creating the lower bounds and upper bounds, so that when we were doing the binary search thing.
Yeah.
But after it was displayed, I feel like I could see it perfectly. So I mean, questions surrounding this, no. But I guess what more could we do with something as simple as this, right?
With the guessing game, there's not much more there's not much to a guessing game, right? That's right. Part of the reason why I knew we could get it done in our time limit, right?
Yeah.
Like on stream today, we can get a guessing game done.
No, but other than that, then no. For this program, not really. This is great.
Cool.
Ooh, fortune teller game.
Try making a fortune teller game. Yeah, there's probably some interesting ways you could do that. Well, cool. And we got to look a little bit at for loops today. We got to look a little bit at while loops. I did not explain the for loop. I told you I'll tell you that another time. So if and when we do another one of these and bring Bubs back on, I will explain for loops probably, because they are very useful. That's the one that we did before where it like had all the different pieces, and that was the first loop that we did. The one that did 17 times, you'll remember.
Mm-hmm.
You could make an 8-ball. Yep, it actually wouldn't be hard.
Wow.
I mean, making the 8-ball like visually, yeah, that's harder than writing the code for it.
Yeah, I'd definitely love to do this again. This was a lot of fun.
Yes, as Farouk mentioned, it's basically an array with random responses, which would let us learn about arrays. So, Hawkbird Gaming, yes, we'll. I'll put this code on the DevChatter GitHub in our Learn to Code section. I'll probably put it in a folder that says that this was Bub's code. I might generate a new version of each of these files to make them each their own program, but that would be about the only change I would make, really.
Very cool.
So I'm going to do that. So basically giving them each their own project to run, so they'd be two separate console apps. And yes, this is a console app, so like I'm sure you've run those a million times in the past, but this is the first one you've written, obviously. Okay, and Bub didn't even sneeze once. You must have put the cat away. Yeah, actually my cat has just been hanging out. So for anyone that doesn't know, I use a standing desk, so that's why I'm standing here. See, standing. And the cat sleeps in my chair. I don't get a chair.
What's MrBubz's beard routine? That's a great question. If I understood what a beard routine was, I'm not sure. That's funny.
Yeah,
MrBubz's beard routine.
But Bubs does have a pretty good beard.
Yeah, I try to get it in there, man.
I have not had a beard since. Let's see. I shaved my beard off. I think a week before I started streaming. So you're welcome, everyone. And I started streaming 9 months ago.
I haven't been clean shaven probably since my first interview for a job out of college.
That's
9 years ago.
Hilarious.
So maybe not this length, but I've always either trimmed it or I've always had some kind of something on my face. So my wife doesn't even know what I look like without hair on my face.
That's kind of weird.
Fact. Now teach him how to link this random generator game to Twitch.
We were talking about it, Nakey Supra. He wants to, but that requires some extra stuff. So it's actually not that hard to connect it from a console application, but I'm going to have to start teaching him methods and classes and other things like that before we can do that.
And that's going to be a lot, but I'm definitely down to try it. How about this? Is it possible? Do you think, me as a Twitch streamer and me as a gamer, do you think it would be eventually possible to create some kind of functionality for Twitch in my chat?
Easily, yes, of course.
Then
yeah,
I
you
think
could
that'd be
easily
great.
make
Whether it's like a widget or whatever, you know.
Oh, so
Right.
like a visual thing, yeah, you could definitely get that. But like starting out, I would say like let's make something that just does something chatting in the chat.
Sure.
Right.
Yep.
So just connecting to chat. Don't worry about visuals yet, because
not yet. No.
There's a lot of stuff I have to start teaching if we're going to visuals.
One step at a time.
Yes, that is a much bigger step.
Yep.
Because I would rather teach you this stuff first, because you can easily connect any of the stuff that you learn how to do in a console application. You can connect to a front end. So we then just teach you the front end, and everything you learned in the visual side, in the console application side, immediately applies to the visual side. That's why I recommend going this way and learning this first, because otherwise you learn a bunch of stuff that wasn't necessary. So, okay, cool. Yeah, it's Halloween. Scare 'em with Link and assembly language.
I was about to say, this basic stuff already scares me. I'm sure I'd be frightened with anything more complex.
Yeah, there's neat stuff we can do. So like
a welcoming bot might be fun for Twitch. That would be cool.
One that just says hi when it meets a new person that hasn't met before, for example.
Yeah, so I think, and I've seen it before. I've seen it in other channels where, like, if somebody types for the first time ever, they kind of like welcome them. You know what I mean? I've seen that kind of, or maybe if they follow or something. I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, so
Pretty
like
cool
in my
stuff.
chat, you'll actually see whenever someone follows. Hey, if there's someone that hasn't clicked follow yet in my chat or Bubz's chat, you should click that follow button and follow us, because there's more good stuff. Bubz is awesome. He does a lot of gaming streaming, mostly World of Warcraft. So occasionally I can get him to play Diablo 2, but that was mostly just yesterday.
I'll play Diablo 2 again, barring the fact that BlizzCon, if they announce a D2 remaster, you'll see me more on Diablo 2. But regardless, yeah, guys, I really appreciate it. We both do. So if you need a break from all of this stuff on screen and it gives you a headache, let's play. We could play some games together, and I'm very much interactive with my viewers. So if you need a break from some of this stuff, like I feel right now in my first time coding ever, I'm like, oh my god, I need to play something.
Yeah, well, I will tell you, three hours is a long time for the first coding session. So I think you did well. I don't think we burned you out too much.
I did it. I got through. Well, in 3 minutes, we would have gotten through 3 hours. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. So. But seriously, if there is someone in my chat that hasn't clicked follow, if you do it, it'll demonstrate the thing that Bubz was just talking about, because the chat bot that is in my chat will actually respond with a message when you follow. You may have seen one from previous people, but it says so in chat when you follow. And it actually does a couple of other things when you do that behind the scenes, like giving you, currency in the channel, things like that.
Right. Is my beard getting gray? It might after this, after a couple of these. It might after a couple.
Yeah, don't worry. You all know why he's wearing the hat, right?
I'm not going bald, I swear. I'll take it off right now. Look, not going bald. I got a full head of hair. It is getting white, though. Those white hairs are attributed to having a kid.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yep. Kids, they do that. I know this too.
Yeah. Yours will be one soon.
Yes, I have a sub 1 year old that will soon be a 1 year old. So
Fantastic.
neat
Can you teach
stuff.
him to code too?
When he's older, yeah, I will probably teach him how to code. Whether he wants to go into a career in it or not is entirely up to him. But I will teach him how to code because I think it's a useful thing, because it gets you thinking about stuff. You probably noticed even in the stuff you were doing there, Bubs, that you had like when it's like think about how you're going to solve this problem. What's the way you're going to do that? And it's like, oh yeah, you actually got to think about that stuff.
Yep.
The Fable. My bot
Great
is
question.
written in C# and .NET Core. So ASP.NET Core is what it's all written in.
Hello, Farouk. Welcome to my channel. Thank you. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you've learned a great deal from DevChatter. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from Brendan.
Yep. Good stuff. Well, I was trying to see if... Oh, there they go. So, all right. So we have 4 people that all followed over on my chat right there that demonstrate the bot working. So the challenge is that there is no automated piece from Twitch that tells us when someone follows. The only way to get that information is actually to ask Twitch, hey, who are my followers? Hey, who are my followers? Hey, who are my followers? And then as soon as that list changes, then you know who the followers are. So that's actually all that's going on there. Hey, I just noticed what happened over in Bubs' chat.
Yeah, thank you so much, Georgie. I really appreciate it. That's 17 months in a row. I feel like I haven't even streamed that long. Because I definitely stopped streaming for a really long time after the birth of my child. So that's amazing that you still supported it for so long. Georgie says, I'm leaving for Vegas in 3 days. Things are looking bright for me, Bubs. That's awesome, man. Best of luck on your trip. And there's Brendonius with the bubblegasms in the chat. I love that you're subbed to me too, man. Thanks. I appreciate that. Cool. Yeah, it's very good programming language for gaming development. Perfect.
Yeah, C# actually is used by Unity. Did I tell you about a game called Graveyard Keeper, Bubs?
I've heard of Graveyard Keeper before. I don't know if it was through you. It might have been through multiple sources, to be honest. And also somebody in your chat mentioned Unity as well.
Yes, Unity is what Graveyard Keeper is built in, and a lot of other games too that you don't realize. And they're actually all using C#. So this programming language you're learning is the same language that is used in Unity. So
very cool.
Of which a lot of games are written in Unity and you don't realize it. And yes, as Janiscu mentioned over in my chat, Unity has a 2D game challenge that's going on right now that I decided not to enter in and instead just do my JavaScript game that's written in JavaScript. Yep.
Thank you for the follow, Farouk. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll play lots of games together, guys.
So I want to make sure. So since we are mostly wrapping up the stream here, just doing a little bit of chatting at the end. I was looking at other channels we can host. I noticed MrBubzTV is doing a science and technology stream. Seems like he's doing C# programming, so that'd be a good. I'm just kidding.
I was like, "What's going on? What are you doing there?"
Yeah, well, I mean, hosting you doesn't really make sense. It's the same. Like it's the same stream right now. Like they're just gonna see static me and mobile you versus mobile me and static you. It doesn't really make a huge difference.
Learn to make Unity game together. I think that would be really fun. Well, I think this is definitely going to be the start of something. I really enjoyed this. I appreciate it again. Introducing me to this, Brendan. There's a whole world out here of coding.
Oh, yeah.
This is fantastic. So definitely a lot of content in the future. So
yeah, and I saved copies of this code. So this is the only piece that matters. The other files we didn't mess with at all.
Right.
And actually, we didn't even show them really. If you click on the CSproj file, for example, and open that up, you'll see that it's basically nothing. That is just a bit of metadata that says what kind of program it is that we were making. That just tells the code, essentially it tells VS Code, well, the .NET Core SDK, it tells it, hey, just run this as an exe. So see the output type is exe. And you've seen that kind of file extension before if you open up the CSproj file. I don't know if you have it up, Bubs. But people on my side can see it. Yeah,
I see it here.
So, yep, that's all it is.
It's been fun, Bub. Thank you, Brennan. I really appreciate it. Next time, Brennan will break out the good china. Yeah, and maybe we'll do a reverse thing where I teach Brennan how to be good at a video game afterwards.
What?
I got
Man.
him.
Oh,
Got him.
Whew.
Teach a developer to play video games.
I'm not good at video games. What are these video games you talk about?
What are these video games?
What is this?
Funny.
Actually, you could teach me how to play WoW. I don't know how to play WoW, but that's
man,
probably
that'd be
because
a
I
fun
only
one.
play good games.
Brendan needs some ice. Oh, Brendan needs some ice. Burn, bro.
Ow.
Too fun.
Oh, man. Actually, I did need ice. Shortly before the stream, I hit my foot, and so I actually iced my foot before standing for this whole stream. So
You were too excited. That's what it was.
Yeah,
were you
exactly.
standing up the whole time?
yeah,
Now?
of course, yeah.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
I did like a 6-hour stream last week where I was standing.
Oh my God.
Like, so I was like, "You're standing?" I'm like, "Yeah, standing." Been standing for like 6 hours. Yeah,
I need to do like I want one of those desks that like elevate, like after a while, so I could just like click a button and it stands up, and then I stand up.
Smartasky. Hey, welcome.
What's up, man? Oh, Smartasky was at TwitchCon. So was I, man. Very cool. Hope you enjoyed
You
it.
guys didn't run into each other there? You guys,
I didn't
you guys
know
not
who he
each other?
was before this moment.
Oh, okay.
I'm not
Smartasky
omnipotent.
is a programmer.
I know how to write basic C# code now. I don't know how to. I'm not omnipotent after this.
Standing is a developer thing.
Watching TV standing. Crimson's a developer, and he says it was a magical weekend. It really was. It was a great time. So I would imagine then, did you go to Developer Day on Thursday? Had I known about this earlier, and this piqued my interest sooner, I probably would have gone.
I don't know if I don't remember mentioning being there. But Smartasky is awesome, and is a Smartasky is actually from the greatest state in the union. You know that?
Which is?
Oh, I was expecting you to try to claim it was Florida. No, he's the same state I am, Bubs.
Come on, I'm not.
Yeah.
Florida's not the greatest at anything. I live here, but come on, like even I wouldn't make that something like that, a claim like that.
I code from my massage. Yeah, but actually, so what Will's saying there is actually one of the key points is developers usually code in whatever the most comfortable thing is that they can do. So, for example, like we used to have like some nice lazy boy recliners in the office, so you just grab a laptop and sit there if you wanted to or something. The massage chair suggestion, I know some people that like that kind of approach. Or like sometimes we'll just go sit outside in the sun, and like, nice weather. That's not, actually I just realized this, do you guys do that stuff? Do you guys actually ever go out in the sunlight, or is that like dangerous down there?
Oh no, everybody's out in the sunlight all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that's just me when I'm down there. Okay.
No, I mean, rate of skin cancer might be higher. I don't know. Like, I'll be honest, but everybody's out and about all the time. Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. Well, in that case, why don't we try to wrap this up a little bit? So what I'm going to do is I will end my Discord call with you.
Sure. Are you going to host anybody, by the way? I figured, you know what? Let's pass on both our viewers to somebody. I feel like that'd be very greatly appreciated.
I was going to host probably Gareth if he's still going. He's one of my regulars, has been for a while, and he's starting up a stream. He currently has, looks like 5 viewers. So rating him with our like combined like 60 some
with
people
all forces combined. No, he would boost up way to the
kind
top.
of hilarious.
Yeah, let's do it. I think I'm searching for him now. You said his name was Gareth. Oh, there he is, Gareth Hubble.
Yep, that's the one.
Got it.
So
awesome.
Yeah,
you say your goodbyes first. I'll say my goodbyes second. I'll follow suit.
Sounds good. All right, thanks everybody for hanging out today. It was a good stream. If I didn't get around to thanking you for the follow, I still do appreciate it. Even if I didn't mention them all, there were a bunch, and I am really glad to have you all here. Especially Ebony, who just followed right now, so thank you very much for that. Glad you are all here enjoying the stream with us and learning about C# and programming. And thanks, Crimson Green, for getting that shout out to Mr. Bubs there in the chat. Always appreciated. Up in the corner is an awesome dude. Go check out his stream. Link is over there in the chat. Crimson just set it in. And hello, anybody that's showing up. We are just about to wrap up the stream, but you are welcome to come back for a future one. We stream 4 times a week on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Awesome, Chef. Glad to know that I was getting hosted by Twitch devs. I do know that they auto-host me, so that is really awesome. Glad that you are all here. Welcome anybody that showed up.
That's amazing.
So as I said, our next stream will be on Saturday. Starts at about 1 p.m. Eastern time, so that's 2 hours before, like, now-ish. So whatever time it is for you now, about 2 hours before this is when we start on Saturday. And keep in mind for everybody that if you are in Europe, the United States is switching off of daylight savings time this weekend, so we're going to shift an hour back. So make sure you adjust for that
point.
for scheduled for all of us. This is the weird week where the U.S. and Europe do not, well, U.S. probably the rest of the world don't match. So welcome to Weird Week.
Yeah.
And if you don't know schedules, I think you can find both of our schedules below our streams in the information. Lots of other stuff. We each have a Discord, which I'm going to recommend we both post links to in our chat now, if you haven't yet. So go ahead and do that, Bubs. That way people have those Discord links. And Bubs, take it away with your outro.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on the very first ever Bubs Learns to Code in C# with DevChatter. So thank you so. Oh, message was deleted. I typed in my.
Yeah, I know. I can paste it again though.
All right, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. But yeah, so thanks again for having me here. I'm definitely interested in learning more. My guess is, if it is the same as yours, that this will probably be like a Thursday recurrence if you want to do it again, just because our schedules seem to align more on Thursdays. But at any rate, typically what I do is Monday through Fridays. I don't do weekends. Weekends is for the wife and baby and family. Monday through Fridays, I stream a plethora of video games, mainly Blizzard-focused games. So tomorrow, I'm actually going to be playing the classic demo, which is for World of Warcraft, which is World of Warcraft in its state as it was 14 years ago. But I typically stream World of Warcraft, Diablo, StarCraft games, classic Blizzard games. I'll typically dev into retro-style games. But that's it. We'll be doing more of this. So thanks again, DevChatter. I feel smarter today than I was 3 hours ago.
Nice.
Appreciate all your help, man. Thanks again, guys, for all the follows and all that stuff.
Yep, sounds great. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to put us to our outro and stick around because we are going to raid an F# streamer, so it'll be different programming language, but should still be the same type of content. So make sure you say hi when you get in there. If you've got our hype emotes, if you're one of my subscribers or one of Bub's subscribers, make sure you spam some of our emotes just to say hello when we get there. And with that, thanks. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you, Castro, for the follow. We're out. Bye.